All right. So we've been pre-warned that Dom's got some buddies in the chat. We'll see how that works out for us. Hey, we've been talking about for a while. We're going to re-go through the format now since Wayseeker's not here because I don't want to have to hear him whine about comics. We're going to cover... We're just going to go through books, first appearances. We used to do this before with the High Republic. We used to do it with a couple other things too. We're just going to keep continuously peppering those in and week out, in between Wayseeker trying to bore us with blue furry hair dogs or whatever the hell he's talking about. But let's say hi to the chat. Oh, Dom's already leaving. Let's say hi to his buddies in the chat first, though. GTK Comics, thumbs up, hi. W Ambassadors, I love Dommy. Okay, I assume that's one. Tommy, what's going on? Dark Side Crew on Sunday. Fill me with all the Star Wars gossip. We will. Also, too, might add, good week for Skeleton Crew. But I wonder how long we're going to be able to keep Dommy happy, because a lot of stuff happened in this episode. And yeah, we'll talk about it. We will talk about it. I'm here to see Dom. We know you are. Aquatic Apes. Make sure you check out his thing. He does a lot of fishing in New York. Gorilla.
Yep.
Right? Yep. Okay. All right. Charles, what do we got? Oh, Poppy, tell us more. That's a Dom one too.
Yep.
Bring on the laughs and rants. Ruben, you gotta come on. What do you say, Dom? What's about this one?
No, yeah, that's Charles, my buddy Charles. Another guy that works.
Guys, visit the bathroom together. All right, here we go. Wookie Fanatic. Happy Sunday, Darksiders. Dan the Man. Hello, kids, sirs. Hey, Dan just picked up a Darth Vader 3 for 9.8 for $70, I think.
Wow.
Which one? The 125?
Just the A. Just
the right look.
Yeah, but still, I mean, dude, $70. Pick it up. All right, Mr. Appleman. Hi, everyone. Hi. Dom has a following. Yeah, I mean, it's trends at work. Oh, 75. Yeah, I said 75, didn't I?
No, you said 70. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. So, the whole $5. That's gonna make the difference in that $5.
Hey, truth matters. Fucking.
What's up, fellas? What's up, Comic Chef? No Bruce before and Dom show. Yeah. What, you guys on a bunch of shows together or something?
No, because we like go back and forth with insults.
When you guys yell at each other.
If we had both of them on this show, it would never end.
Yeah, right.
The show always goes too long anyway.
Look, Bruce, first stay away from Star Wars. You have no clue. The Star Wars, stick with your own.
No, he doesn't. He's never been on this show because of that.
Stick with the Riz books that you keep winning.
Keep those books. Real and Dom enough.
Yeah, I know.
You say the Riz?
The Riz books. The Riz
books, huh?
The Riz, Raz, whatever that's called.
It's called razzing, not Riz.
Riz is a total different meaning of things.
Yeah.
Hey. Oh, we've been looking for you, Christina.
Hey,
Double wrenches. I got to do this. I don't know how to do this. Who's in charge of this thing anymore? All right. Hey, what's going on, Christina? Do this. Somebody give her a wrench. Do you guys know how to do that? I don't know how to do that.
I don't know yet.
All right.
I don't know that.
Anyways, let's go. Let's get into news. Anybody? News. Oh, I gotta put it up. I gotta run the whole show. Sorry, Wayseeker's not here to help.
Put it up. I can control it, but you gotta put it up.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. News. Give us. Oh wait, I gotta do the starting thing.
You didn't do my intro either. What the heck?
I know, dude. Chill out. Chill out.
I demand my intro.
I'll be honest. I'm debating. I'm finally gonna probably do it. I'm debating ice fishing this year. I mean, the kids are out there skating. I can't do it. I'm too old.
You haven't done that
balls for
before?
too long. I have, yeah, but I don't have my own setup.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I would just walk outside, but so I don't even have to drag it that far. Well, I mean, I do now because like right outside is an ice skating rink.
You use like the automatic one, or are you gonna do the whole hand crank and crank your own?
No, I'm probably, yeah. I mean, either one. The auger. The auger's not that bad. No, it really isn't.
Really?
No, it's not. It's really not that bad. The auger's not that bad. The problem is the freeze over thing where you have to keep scooping off the ice top so that it doesn't get wet again. But I had a long fishing season this year, so I kind of wanting to. For some reason, when you do stuff, like regularly, then when you can't do it, you're like, shit, man. All I want to do is go throw some casts and stuff like that. But it's not the same. You know what I mean? Like I actually cast a lot of times, and this is more around sit around. But we'll try it. We'll see what's up. All right. Anyways, go ahead. This week in Star Wars.
This week in Star Wars news. Okay, so we saw the Nielsen ratings come out for Skeleton Crew, and it didn't make the top 10, which naturally all the naysayers freaked out about it. There's a lot of reasons behind this, and I'll go through some of them in a couple following stories. But the fact that it didn't make the top 10 is not hugely surprising, I think, to me. It was actually something that, a lot of people said was going to happen when it first debuted, because there wasn't a whole lot of hype around it and there wasn't much engagement and stuff like that. So, but of course, you had all the naysayers coming out. Well, there's no way we'll get a second season of this. Blah 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 blah. But I don't know that they want a second season. I think that's kind of overblown. But
here's the thing. Here's what did you know it came out on the ratings?
So it had a lot of competition. I should have posted the image of the top 10, and I can't remember what the top 10 Nielsen ratings were. But you had a lot of shows come out in December versus the big thing in headline wise was that it got worse ratings than The Acolyte, which is technically true, but at the same time, there's also far more competition in December for streaming shows than there is in, what was it, May? Like when Acolyte dropped, or June?
I can't remember too. Like I had read the official report on how Nielsen does their ratings also, and like we all know how
it's basically total minutes viewed. So when you're a show that first debuts, you only have 2 episodes, for instance, versus something that drops on like a Netflix drops all 6 or all 8 episodes. So so it goes by minutes viewed. So.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So that's it. What's going on, John? By the way, I mean, I hear you on that, but absolutely, it's I mean, it's whatever.
Yeah, on the positive side of things, it's doing well. And it also came out, at least through engagement. I think I can't remember. I always want to say Factor 5. That's like a food service thing. But there's a company that like basically tries to guess the ratings and measures engagement and stuff.
Yeah.
Basically, it's the only show in town for Disney Plus right now. It's the number 1 show on Disney Plus worldwide.
Well, I mean, there you go.
So I mean, what other thing is gonna propel Disney Plus? So they may not be happy with it not making top 10, but at the same time, it's all they got. So that was a little interesting news. But the capper on it was also, and Forbes did this. This was a Forbes article that came out on this, and they dug through a lot of the reason why it may have debuted kind of soft, and found out the marketing, and particularly the media mentions and stuff like that you get through articles and things like that, was only about 60% of what the Acolyte got prior to its debut. So basically, they didn't spend on much as marketing and trying to get things out there in the media nearly as much for this as they did for a show like Acolyte.
Yeah, it's a short show. Yeah, I mean, it's a short show. They didn't get that much into it. It popped out, and there's nothing going on, and it's holiday season for a lot of stuff where it's not.
It's also a shorter show. Most of the episodes have been, not including the credits, most of them have been under
the other thing.
Half hour.
Here's the other thing. To my understanding, it's always been I was just doing something trying to figure out how to do the wrench. I went back on the show. I just saw comments on the heck was the name of that show? Oh, that me and Eric Hurd used to do. Back Issues. And somebody's they're still watching that stuff. Pete's got a toy, the muscle thing me and him did together, where he did it the toy thing. That thing always sees. I think that's kind of how some of this is. You're just building content into your library. And at this point, this is something that you can easily build in your content. It's very watchable again. I mean, I'm actually going to rewatch it with my kids after the season's done, and so far, to be honest, it has been, Bruce, just give her the wrench somehow. Somebody do it. One of you idiots there. It's just been good. Like, it's been a good watch. It's been great this week. Trying not to spoil it, because I know if I say anything about it, Dom's going to go on an hour-long tangent.
No, I'm not going to say.
Go ahead.
I do have one thing to say. I'm just tired of the episodes being short as they are. You have the money. Make these 45 minutes plus.
It's kids focused. You're not going to hold a kid's attention that long.
I know, but animated cartoons, 30 minutes, 25 minutes, not live action.
Yeah, that's how long this is.
I know, but live action needs to be longer. 50 minutes. Episodes should be 50 minutes. They should be.
Hey, Dom, here's the problem that I have with it. it's doing well, right?
is
You're
doing well.
enjoying it. Let's just enjoy the shit. And then, okay, guys, I can't have you guys texting me in the background. I shouldn't have asked you guys any questions at all. All right. Just let it be what it is. You want an hour-long show. I'd rather have 30 minutes where it's actually good and I want to see the next episode.
But it's not even 30 minutes.
I mean, I don't care what time it is. I don't care what the time is, as long as you can like watch the show and be like, oh shit. Like you're telling me right now at the end of this episode, you're not like, oh shit, bro. Cannot wait for 2 more days, dude. Because I'll tell you, I can't.
I can't wait either. I can't. But listen, hey, repair tech. Yes, it's a kid show, but there are adult themes in it. It gets
but that's the
dark.
thing. Like
it's a
you
little
can't
dark.
you can't create something for both audiences and have it. If you start making it really long, and you start putting a bunch of like deep lore Star Wars stuff in there and all this, kids aren't going to pay attention to that stuff. No 10-year-old is going to care what super deep cut reference you carry on for 10 minutes in Star Wars or a tangent about the Old Republic or something like that. They're not going to care about that.
But this is the thing. So here's the thing, Repair Tech Tony. This has always been the problem and the plus with Star Wars, right? Out of all the other franchises, this is Star Wars' biggest crush and biggest advantage. Crutch, not crush, not kissing, but like, Tiny Tim. Okay. Is that they always are appealing to their original OG audience, which keeps getting fucking older. And they're trying to still appeal to the original audience, kids and families that are getting older, right? So like it, and that's where I think whenever we hear the like, who was that idiot, the drunk idiot that was on the thing, the guy that played Kanan's voice?
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Freddie Prinze Jr. That when that dumbass got drunk and got on the thing and was like, adult, this isn't for adults. Star Wars is for kids. You're a moron. Okay, you're a moron.
George Lucas has said the same thing, though.
George Lucas also a moron. Okay, so here we go, because adults have kept him in business for a very long time. The problem with it is it's for both, and that's not negative. Like I don't even think they knew what negative fan or toxic fandom was, because to be honest with you, complaining that you took Han Shot First out and complaining that maybe the graphics you added. By the way, ask the kids who saw it when he redid it. It's who he made it for. They still don't think, they still see that as being out of place. Like when he put the dinosaur in and shit like that. I mean, so it wasn't kids that he did this for, right? Like, so they just always, George Lucas is probably the biggest, like softy pansy when it comes to any form of criticism. You can't, I mean, him and Liefeld are almost neck and neck with criticism. You know what I mean? Like they're very sensitive. They probably were sucking on the nipple for too long or some shit. Who knows? But that's on them, okay? But the one thing that Star Wars has always had the finest line of balance is keeping the original crew like Dom without getting them pissed off. Because I was born in 77. If you weren't born in 77, then you can't be a fan of Star Wars. Anyways, but like keeping the original group, right? And then also still make it family friendly and to youth.
And that was their goal since they set out, right? They even told us this in what little press they did before the thing was the fact that, like, listen, we're creating this show so that kids can enjoy it, but also the adults that were like the Star Wars fans that are now in their 40s and all that can enjoy it too, because it will remind them of a kid's adventure when they were younger.
Yeah, it gives you nostalgia. I think you cannot please everybody, because Dom just said he's not pleased because it's only 30 minutes instead of 50. But like you could try.
Although I'll take this as a win if that's Dom's only criticism of this. Yeah,
I love this show. Look, I tell you what, I love this show. This show has been a joy for me. But the whole fact that, like I said, the short episodes fucking bugs the shit out of me. But it's because I want to see what happens. After this week's episode, I want to see. I'm like, I can't wait for Tuesday.
Yeah,
I am loving this show because it's given me that feel, that nostalgic feel that I've had when I was a kid.
Yeah, it is.
This is what I love about Star Wars.
That's exactly what they set out to do, is to kind of instill that nostalgia in you, and it works. I think it works.
It does.
Hey, John, I know it's a fun show. I love it. I love this show. That's why
he's got to complain. Hey, look, he's got to complain about something.
Like I said, if that's Dom's only complaint, like that's like a 9.5 out of 10. So it's pretty good. But we had the Golden Globes last Sunday or whatever. We didn't really record them because it was occurring as our show was on. But you had Diego Luna was on there, and he didn't say much. He just kind of, in the press before and during it, he kind of just came out and said, kind of bittersweet that, Andor, he's excited for everybody to see it, but he's disappointed to see it end which of course kind of sparked this thing on things of like, oh well, Diego Luna wants another season of Andor. I don't think that's really what he said.
Can I ask you a question about this? And this is, I'm kind of worried about season 2. I'm not sure everybody who says they love season 1 is all in on season 1. Like, I think if you went into that knowing it was good, and then you told all your friends, yeah, oh, you're not watching it, it's good, and then they felt like they were missing something, they kind of snowballed, right?
But I'm not that worried about it. To me, it's they have the formula that they know works now, that they know people enjoyed. I think they filmed the second season with that in mind. And it was mapped out ahead of time, so I don't think it's going to affect story or anything like that.
No.
I get that, but I understand us core fans like that. What I'm saying is, like, you have to get away from the core fans sometimes. And, like, I'm just concerned because we all know how this story ends, right?
So Tony Gilroy, because of the success of season 1, got more freedom to do other things. And they said that you're not going to see Rogue One the same way after seeing season 2 of this.
Well, I hope that's not true.
What the whole fact is that it could change the way you view Rogue One at the end when this goes into Rogue One. So,
I won't in season 2. But hey, Dom, I hope that actually doesn't happen. I think it's perfectly fine because that's trying to see. That's the shit they're doing at Star Wars. It's really pissing me off. They did it in the comic this week too. Just let the original works you did be the original works you did and feed into them and make them link up.
I mean, I think this is so. Rogue One was kind of the they did everything in reverse, obviously, but Rogue One is going to kind of serve as the nightcap, I think, to Andor. Andor, to me, in the way it evolved in season 1, yes, it was about Andor's character at one time, but it's also a lot about building the rebellion, right?
Yeah, it was.
That was that was the
yeah.
linchpin of the whole kind of story. So I think you'll see that as, to me, I'm almost as interested in what happens as Andor because I kind of know his ending, but I'm almost as interested in, how things proceed with Mon Mothma and was it Luther? I can't remember his last name.
Yeah, Luthen.
Luthen.
I want to see Big Booty Bix.
Well, not just that, like kind of how, because like it's a full, like, yeah, you're right. Like how, because even in Andor, they have forms of the rebellion there a little bit bigger than they are now. And like, I think that if we see that, if that's how it ends, I'm okay with it. If they try to do something to change,
I think that's what you will see. Because I think Rogue One gave us the end of that, right? But in Rogue One, everything was in place. Mon Mothma was in charge, and there were, they had their own thing, and they were.
Yeah, they already had
they already had the military and everything set. Like to me, this is the start of all that.
And we've already seen, if you read the books, we've already seen the other aspect of Rogue One too, the leading up from the other side of the scientists and building the Death Star. I mean, we saw that already. So,
I'm going to tell you how they change it.
Yeah.
Here we go. Freaking goddamn Andor is cloned. His clone dies.
No. This is
what clones. Everything's clones.
No. That's what I mean. I just hope that it's not like. I'm hoping that like they don't back up K2SO's memory or like it was very touching.
K2SO yet, but yeah.
Well, you're gonna see it, but the whole fact is, I know he's gonna. Well, definitely it's gonna be changed to the comic. The comic, that one shot that was when he met K2SO.
Yeah, I don't think they pay any attention to the comic.
That probably definitely gonna be that's gonna be gone.
But here's, and I guess, I mean, they've done it so as long as they do it classfully now. I guess I don't have a busy. I mean, I still do because it's a waste of time. Not just a waste of time. The K2SO comic wasn't that great. Okay, let's be honest with it. So I'm actually kind of picking and choosing now what I mind that they plow over. I guess I've got to that. Like, ask JJ years ago, I was like, why do we have this story group? You dumb fucks. You can't even get a word wrong. Like, you got to keep. Yeah. But then, like a purist. And now it's kind of like, well, wow, Dave Filoni's really fucked some shit up. Please don't do what you did to the Ahsoka novel.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to do that to the comic book that was mid at best, like that K2SO storyline, that was a mid.
You allow, I mean, people like Tony Gilroy that run a show, they're creative people. They're literally creators. Like, you give them license to be more creative when you take off the shackles of canon and stuff. Like, if he had to make a show that exactly followed that comic, that would probably not be a very good show. And I probably
that's fine. But the novel, but I don't want him fucking around and then all of a sudden Starlight or something shows up in this fucking thing. And she's supposed to be hanging out with Saw Gerrera and shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't mind if you do it as a separate thing, but I don't want her meeting him early and like, oh, the dad's really like the dad's his best friend at one point or something. I don't want to see that. Kendrick's like hanging out with them, like, hey, what's up, buddy? And this dude's making love to the fucking tentacle monster.
I wouldn't mind.
I don't want to see any of that. I don't want to see any of that.
Building a little bit of history between Andor and Krennic wouldn't bother me too much, just because we didn't get a lot of. They seem like they had, at least reputationally, a history with each other in Rogue One, but we didn't really get any background on that. Krennic and Andor.
Okay, I don't have a problem with that. Krennic and Andor. I don't have a problem. Yeah. What I'm saying is like, what was it, Falling Star, or what was the name of the novel?
Lost Star.
Lost Star. Was that the prequel to this? Yeah, Lost Star.
Yeah, with Talking was in it. You think Talking shows up?
Was that it? Was it Lost Star?
No, Lost Star was something different.
No.
Oh, Lost Star. No. What's the?
There's a prequel book, whatever the prequel book is, that has got Jen Erso in it when she's a kid.
Stardust.
Is she called Stardust? She's called Stardust, but that's not the name.
Stardust.
But I don't want that shit changed. I don't want the put in a hole. If you want to show us, there is a real cool thing he could do with Jen Erso. He could introduce her. There's a real cool part that we really haven't gotten. We've heard stuff about it before, but it's after Saul Gerrera takes her out of the
Catalyst. There you go.
Well,
that's what it's Catalyst. Yes.
If you get any of that, I think it's going to be framed more. I think it's going to be framed more in the background of Krennic and Galen more than it will Jyn. I don't think, Jyn may be like you may see young Jyn.
Well, I just wouldn't mind seeing
the background. I'll tell you, thing. But
I think
it's going to be before she got separated from her parents and things like that. Probably.
Well, it's going to skip.
Well, hold on though. But as you're saying, I want to see the rebellion build. I'm saying, a little Saul Gerrera is a little rebel. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna have the rebellion.
I think if we see Saul, I won't have a problem with seeing Saul either.
You're gonna see him.
But you gotta remember at one point, like Saul Gerrera, probably towards the end of this. What?
Catalyst was the title you were trying to think of.
But if this is leading in, how many years did this thing jump forward?
It jumps a year every year.
It jumps a year each
arc. Each 3 episodes.
There's 4 arcs.
So that's what I'm saying. Like at one point, then Jyn Erso is with Saw Gerrera, and they're fucking shit up everywhere.
Yeah, because
they're out there just murking motherfuckers.
The last arc actually goes right into Rogue One, so you could see Jyn Erso get. She got.
We know that.
She got arrested by the Empire when they freed her from the thing. So you might see something like that
at the end.
Or, like at the
I guess I don't even if they lead that into that, that's fine. But I just. If you're going to do an arc, and I think if you're going to do how many? It's 12 total episodes?
12 episodes, yeah.
I mean, if you're going to do an arc, do a Jyn Erso arc. Like, do it. Do it with Saul Gerrera. I'm down with that. I'm fucking down with that. But don't give me fucking Catalyst. I don't want Catalyst.
We know Krennic's going to be in it. We know Saul's going to be in it. I don't know if Galen confirmed to be in this thing. I don't know if he is or not. But I would be shocked if you see at least as a B story, which would B story being like a secondary story, if you see a B story of Krennic and Galen and kind of what preceded that fracturing that they had or whatever.
Yeah.
It fractured when it was in the book Catalyst. He tried to leave.
But it hasn't been on screen. Not everybody reads the book Catalyst.
You get a Vader cameo?
We told you, BK, we were going to suspend him. No, I hope not.
I doubt it. Maybe,
I wouldn't want that either.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want that either.
Or maybe a Grand Moff Tarkin.
You could get a Tarkin.
You can get Tarkin. Tarkin fits.
But
I don't know. Like, dude, after we already get but if we get Saul and Krennic, do we really need?
Yeah. I don't think you need him as main character, but like a Tarkin in a hologram or something.
Yeah,
probably wouldn't be out of the question.
Well, listen, I want to see Luthen's story. I know Luthen's probably going to die because. He's going to show up. So, and Bix might perish too. Who knows?
Who's Bix? Which one's Bix again?
Bix, the one that
girl,
the one that got the friggin' what's the name? Merle friggin' brainwashed her and really fucked the head up.
I gotta go back and watch Andor again.
You might. What's going on with these guys?
Many months before we.
What about that dude that jumped into the water? Is he dead or alive? Andy Sudeikis, is that the guy's name?
He said, I think he's coming back.
He's coming back, I think.
He's coming back, so some of those guys fucking lived, huh? All right. We'll see. All right.
It's Star Wars. Nobody that falls or in water or anything is going to die.
Well, he couldn't swim, could he?
People fall
Well, he didn't
and
swim,
live
he
all the
stayed.
time.
Yeah, he stayed. He couldn't jump in the water.
That's true. Yeah. That's cool.
Hey, well, listen, I'm
Oh, I love this dude. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, the comic book that's coming out, Legacy, has a little story with Valance and Andor. So maybe you get a mentioning of Valance.
No, probably not.
Probably not.
Hey, well,
It makes us too hot to
That's not
die.
how writing works.
Yeah.
Well, that comic was done way after they wrote this season Andor, I'm sure.
Good for him, dude.
Oh, yeah,
And Willow. You forgot to put Willow up there.
hey, I'm going to see him on the cruise.
Yeah.
On the cruise. He's on the cruise with me.
Yep.
He's gonna be,
that'd be nice.
Dom's going to be the dude like that family that I had to kick off the elevator.
So
he's
going to
be the one
explain,
where... Yeah, go ahead.
BAFTA is the British Academy Awards, and this is their highest honor for an actor. So it's kind of like a lifetime achievement award in a way.
Oh, nice
for him. So a nice bonus for Warwick Davis.
That's how it works, JJ. He just shows up. That's good for him. He's a good guy. Yeah, the worst thing I've ever seen with fans, and I don't think they intentionally did it, but like when we were at Celebration one year, it was when he had the bad leg or hip, when he had just had that leg or hip surgery, and he was like rolling around on that cart thing, and we're in the elevator and he rolls up and he's like, oh, and I was like, hey, how you doing? He's like, good. And before he could get it, and this is what Dom's gonna do on the cruise, so don't do this, Dom.
I don't do
these people stuck their hand in the door so the elevator wouldn't shut, and then stood there while the elevator was like honking the siren, and I got my little kids with me and all. It's going off a million times over. And they're like, hey, can we? He's like, okay, we can have one. Okay, we can have one more. And they would not let the door shut, and they kept pouring in. So, well, you know what I did. We got those doors shut quick, especially with my kids on the thing. But just seeing that, it's like, dude, sometimes you got to remember, like, there's a time and a place with these people. And especially like him, who was like, I understand he is not the tallest man.
Same for the con floor.
Yeah, like why are you mugging him in the elevator to the hotel? I mean, now it was in McCormick Place, so like it's linked to the Marriott right there. So I understand, like that's why they saw him, so they came running. But like, also to like be cautious of not just him but people around him, because like there's families and stuff, and my kids were very young at the time, and it was kind of scary having like random people, like the alarms are going off in an elevator. That's not a normal thing. Like if you hear the beeping, like. Get out of the way.
Listen, I do security. I throw people out of the elevators all the time. So,
oh my God, it was horrible.
Yeah.
So he's cool though. He's a very nice guy. He's a very nice guy. So, yeah.
I won that one. Big news this week in casting was I don't know. Dom will let us know whether he likes it or dislikes it.
Yeah, I don't know what Dom's opinion is on this. I just saw it.
I want to.
John,
Dom
you too.
sent us the news when it broke. I want to see it. I want to hear what Dom has to say. But we got a Rory McCann, who probably best known, he's been in a few other roles, best known for playing the Hound on Game of Thrones. Will replace the late, great Ray Stevenson, who passed away, who played Bail in this. Cool. So, Dom, what do you think?
Well, you know what? Like, I didn't expect him to get the part. They were looking at Gerard Butler. They were looking at Liv Schreiber.
It is supposedly confirmed.
And they were looking.
I pulled it from Hollywood Reporter.
Definitely confirmed. It is confirmed. Bruce, for stop the shit. It is confirmed. So I was surprised when they took him, and he was great. He was great in Game of Thrones. So I like his acting ability, his range. If anybody can pull it off, I think he can pull it off. I think.
Did you? Slow the fuck down. Okay, yeah. If you want to say he was great as the Hound, I'll give you that. The Hound doesn't exactly have fucking range, bro.
I know, but it's just the presence. I know he can handle it, and I seen him in other stuff too.
I mean, the Hound kind of did have range too, in a way, in acting. I mean, he kind of had a bit comedic parts. He had a bits where he played it up a bit for comedy, and he played.
Did you think he did? I didn't think so. I thought it was more me Hound, me beat stuff, but also I'll protect you.
Like, I mean, I'll protect he was, yeah, but that's range. Drama, a little bit of comedy.
I think it's just like one. We can.
I mean, if you didn't smile at some of his one-liners and his interactions with people and stuff, that's a little bit of like dark comedy. And he also had a little bit of drama, obviously, when it came to protecting.
The girl
look, whose name I already forgot.
All right. I mean, look, I'm just saying. Well, yeah, but I'm saying like he's acting like it's like the biggest. I don't think there's much range to him, but he didn't need much range for the part. He did a very good job as that. Yeah.
The sad thing is that. Remember we told you going into Ahsoka, that Ray Stevenson, he passed away. Hope his character is going to be great. We're going to love him. Then we're going to fucking we're going to be aggravated and upset because he passed away. That such a great character, and he turned out being the best part of the Ahsoka series. Him and Shinhati, and that's the part I loved. And it's sad he passed away.
Well, there wasn't much part to them. I think what you loved about it was well, I think the stories you built in your own head you like more than the actual character.
I was gonna say the lore of the character.
The whole fact is that look, I love the fact of a rogue Jedi, stuff like that, and look, just brand new character that you can adapt to, and like, damn, this guy was freaking a badass, and I like that. So now,
once again, I'm not quite sure how much future there was for this character until the fact that the fans really reacted to him well, and then all of a sudden it was like oh wait, we got to replace him now, because I have a feeling they would have written him off.
To John's point, and I get John's point. I was actually going to do a longer, like, kind of maybe segment on like what would happen if we recast like people as younger people or something like that, but I didn't have time to do it. Anyways, to this point, I get that, but Princess Leia was a long established character before Carrie Fisher died. Like, this character, this was all of a sudden, now you got to finish a TV show. What do you do type of thing? It wasn't so much now granted, she was supposed to be in episode 3, or the third sequel or whatever, or the sequel trilogy, but they had a way to kind of craft around that. In this case, I don't know that you really have a way without recasting the guy. And it's not like you're going to put like Ray Stevenson CGI in like 8 more episodes of Ahsoka. So
let me ask you something now.
Circumstances.
Do you think they do something to give him the best look as a Baylan Skoll of what Ray Stevenson looked like, and make him really close to the character?
They'll do what they can, probably like makeup wise and prosthetic wise, but I don't think they're going to do like, or will he just be there in like a CGI face? Is that what you're saying? Or
well, no. So this is what I'm actually looking at his.
I mean, they'll give him the beard and maybe.
No. I'm looking at his picture on IMDb right now. There's one with him with short hair. They would have it if you dye it white. I mean, the beard's similar. The hair, he's got the peak on the haircut. I mean,
I've always reminded of Looper. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Looper, where they take Joseph Gordon-Levitt and make him kind of. They gave him prosthetics on the nose and stuff and made him look a little bit like a young Bruce Willis. So I mean, there's ways you can do that without like CGIing.
But I'm upset. The fact is that Jedi Johnson lost the opportunity of getting the part.
I know. His audition must not have gone very well. I don't know.
I know.
Well, he can still be the stunt double. You don't know.
He couldn't get off the island of Hawaii.
True. Yeah.
No, but we'll see what happens. You know what? Like I said, I'm happy that they're gonna finish it, because there was a short time that they were saying that they weren't gonna recast and they weren't gonna finish the character. Like, they were gonna just like have the character like disappear at one time.
That's because I don't think he was. I don't think there was much thought process on this character in the first place. I don't think there was. Once again, this is something we see with Dave a lot. All of a sudden, fans start liking something. All of a sudden, he's got grand fucking plans for characters. But you can tell, because he's just making shit up as he goes, that there was no thought process behind it. And unfortunately, Dom, for you, and I'm saying this, Dommy, and I'm saying this just like Aquatic Apes is saying it to you there, Dommy. Yeah. I'm just saying, I hope they don't do what I think they're going to do with him, which is like they really didn't have a plan for him. So they're just going to try to randomly make it happen.
Was him and Ahsoka were going to have a fight, and probably Baylan would die or at least get defeated. But no, great writer Dave Filoni just said, we're going to have a fight for about 5 minutes and then have something fly overhead, and then they're just going to say, don't worry about it, and go their separate ways. Like, what the hell was that? So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, because he was a minor character, but people liked him. But people liked him.
Wookie, I liked him from the get-go. When he first came out, I'm like, I love this character. Off the bat.
It doesn't fucking matter.
There's ways you could write him out of the story, but if they're going to do the whole Mortis thing, like Dom thinks they're going to swing that way.
They are doing the Mortis thing. They are.
Right, let me finish, Dom. If they're going to swing that whole way, though, you got to. Your last shot was him standing on the statue and everything. you gotta have the Balin character there, right? If you're gonna be in season 2, if that's gonna be your catalyst for that. So I mean,
but here's the
just
thing.
Say, well, he fell off that that statue he was standing on and died. Like that would be the only way you're gonna.
Well, they could say that he got left there. He got left behind. They could have had him left behind.
He did get left. They all got left behind.
He did.
But that's what I'm saying. So he could just be there, but that could be ended. He got left. People have been left on fucking planets before.
Left behind too. They're all on the planet. Though.
I know. What I'm saying is the other characters could get off, and he could be still there. My question is, you say he's going to do the Morris God thing. Once again, Dom, I don't think you've clearly explained to us. Yeah, we understand that there's things called the Mortis gods, and don't say the father, the sister, and the fucking brother. Okay, yeah, the brother, sister, whatever. Why would I say father, sister, and son?
Father, daughter, and son.
Dom, if I say sister though, you wouldn't say son; it'd be brother.
No,
father, brother,
the son, the daughter. That's what I'm saying. The son and the daughter. And the father. The balance between the dark and the light.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. We know what the Mortis gods are. We know what the Mortis gods are. That's not what I'm asking you. Yeah, it is. It's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. What I'm asking you, Dom, is what the fuck does that have to do with anything?
It has to do with everything. That's what Balin is going. That's what's going for. Avalov. 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 The mother.
For what?
The power. The voices that are calling him. That brought him to where he is. That's where he's going.
I get it. But the story's Ahsoka. I guess my question once again, and I'm not saying that, I'm just trying to set you up for when you get very this is Boba Fett backup tank again. Like this is what could happen with this. Know that you're using words, and in your head, which we cannot open, there's some great adventure going on, and I respect that. I'm not trying to be rude about it, but do know this character was a minor character they had no fucking plans for. So also know that when he's out here writing some bullshit,
you don't know they ain't plans.
Yeah, dude, they didn't have plans for this dude.
There was probably a story. Dave does things later on. Look, you're having Rod of the Hutt.
No, he only does it. Because people like that character. Like people like that character.
But this character was created, and there was a reason why he was created. A reason what the story was all about. Yes, it's a Ahsoka story, but the Ahsoka story is going to lead into more of the supernatural type of things. The Mortis gods. That's what.
Yeah. Oh, he's gonna bang the mother. Okay, I get it. The mother's just still chilling, so they're gonna bang the mother and have a kid.
Ruben, stop it! Just stop it. Go home.
Oh my god. Yeah. When are you gonna do some push-ups? I get it, Dom, but you're getting riled up and you keep saying Mortises, the Mortis gods, and then you say, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit.
Is part of that. It's part of that. The trio. That would be
the trio.
Skywalker is part of the Immortus Gods situation. That's how he is part of it. And look,
well, Darth Vader's still around right now. Oh, see. Yeah. All right, JJ's done with it. JJ's done with it. Yeah, we're still trying to figure out what you're saying.
We're halfway through news, and we're like an hour in here.
Yeah. All right.
So we got some James Mangold trickles of interview information. Apparently, it's going to be set 25,000 years before the other movies existed, including the Clone Wars.
I can't wait.
Can't wait. The reason for that being partly because Mangold loves to dip his hands into new stuff. He doesn't want to be handcuffed by existing canon or lore, which kind of makes sense in a way. I don't mind that so much.
I get it.
But that's kind of his reasoning behind wanting to do something so early on in the thing. But of course, everybody thinks, will this be Old Republic? Blah, blah, blah. Technically, yes, it falls in the Old Republic era. Technically, I think if it's going to be a true Dawn of the Jedi thing, you're probably not going to see that. Like we know Dawn of the Jedi, you're going to see more like Prime Jedi, which is why this image is there. So, yeah, I think you're going to see more of that than anything else.
I want the biblical way the Jedi showed up, like the angels and the gods. I want to see that for the beginning of the Jedi. I want a Bible story. I want a biblical story for
they're not biblical or gods though.
Yeah. I'm just saying, you have
that. We already got that. You do know we already got that, right?
I'm just saying, I want to see.
We got the Immaculate Conception with Anakin.
I know, but I want to see like the fallen angel, which becomes like the first.
Which is what he did when he became Vader.
I know, but I want to see that type of thing, where the stories are outrageous.
So here you go. There's this thing called Star Wars. There's this whole thing called Star Wars. It's called New Hope, Empire Strikes Back.
I know.
and Return of the Jedi. Watch those, and then you get your biblical
I know
all three of those.
I mean, to me, it's interesting to see the start of the Jedi. There's a lot you could do there that we haven't explored. Like, I'd be interested to know, like, what makes the Prime Jedi the Jedi, and what was the start of the Order or something like that.
Clear canvas
for that. But
I kind of like Michael. No.
But the thing is, I think if you're like Dom, though, and you're expecting like old Republic lore or something like that, that's not going to be in here because he just said he doesn't want to get bogged down by Star Wars.
I know, I'm aware of that, but the fact is that you have a clear canvas. You can do what you want.
Here's the other thing. Okay, yes, here's the other thing. Remember Sith and how they try to explain Sith? It's a race, but it's not a race. But then they interbreed, but then they can breed with humans. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm just giving you one right now because they start switching stuff around. So it's a race, then it's not a race, but then it is a race, but then they breed with humans, so then they're not a race, and then it's a religious sect off of the race, but the race doesn't have anything to do anymore. The race is extinct, but it's not extinct anymore. Like, do we really? Is that the path we want to fucking go? Or would you rather just say, like Michael, don't let me know about the beginning and the origin. Just make that mystical. I'm okay with it. And like, if you want to do an early sec of the Jedi Order, I'm okay with that. But I don't want the beginning of Earth. I don't want, the fucking 7-day story. I don't want that at all. I don't want the creation. I want, okay, these guys were back then. Fine. I'll deal with that. But I definitely don't want, plus this sounds boring as fuck. Yeah. It just sounds boring as fuck.
Yeah.
Wookie,
it's hard to say how I'm going to take this. And I mean, the question is, will this be like a, so we've seen things that, Acolyte, for instance, was visually, at least speaking, something we saw in an era that we hadn't known about or seen before, right? Same with the High Republic initiative. All that took place in an era that we didn't know anything about. Yeah. We hadn't seen any of the characters, this and that. If he does something more like that just makes it about like, okay, these are the first Jedi Knights or something like that. The Order's already established. The Force is already a thing. Yeah. The Jedis are learning how to use it and stuff like that. I'm cool with that. And that could make a story out of it. But like, I don't think he's going to like, people think he's going to make some giant world expansive thing of like, the Force was created on the 7th day.
Yeah.
I don't think that's
I don't want that shit.
And how the expectations of the Force, how the Force is used, I want to see that. I want to see how, all the living things, how they began to learn about the living things.
No, see, that sounds incredible.
No, dude, go watch that fucking what's that on History Channel or whatever, Nature Earth or whatever. Go watch that shit on the fucking 12K TV.
Like, I don't want that shit. That would be like watching again, like the creation of the Earth story or something. Like, do you want to see that on screen for?
No, I go to church every Sunday and most Fridays. I don't need to hear it again, dude. No, absolutely fucking not. No.
But Star Wars is always based on biblical. So if you do a biblical story,
it's based on a bunch of different stuff. Feel free, Dom. There's something called churches. You can go to them. They got a ton of them in New York. You can deal with that shit there. Don't come here for that. That's not for us.
I think the way he's going to frame it is much more smaller than that. I think it's going to be more along the lines of like, listen, this is a sect of Knight that we didn't know anything about. Existed a long time ago. They're the first Force users, etc.
I'm okay with that.
Take it from there.
Yeah, if it's an early sect of the Jedi, I don't care. I'm good with that. But I don't want to hear you explain the yin and the yang. Even the Mortis God fucking thing is annoying as shit. Like, I don't want any more of this mythological trying to explain shit. Metachlorian. How many times have we done this? How's the metachlorian count? M count's doing nowadays. You know what I mean? Like, don't. Just changing it. So.
They used it, but the M count, it was back in Bad Batch. They used the M count.
I understand that, but they've changed it because
it doesn't matter in Ahsoka because anybody can be a Jedi.
Yeah, because anybody then can have it. Brew Boy's got it too. That's what I'm telling you.
The same thing. The Force goes for everybody.
But here's the deal. I don't think anybody's clamoring besides Dom, who doesn't know how bad it can be because there's something in his head that he sees, but he can't.
Listen, all I know is,
hold on, Dom. Stop. You talk over everybody. Stop. You could see something in your head, but you can't vocalize it, right? And whatever's in your head is really cool. But time and again, as whatever he said over here, just go with no expectations, try to enjoy it. No, that wasn't the one. What I'm trying to say is you have a history of like these huge expectations because you do. You've got these great stories going on in your head. But then it does not fucking pan out. And then you get disappointed and mad. We're over here going, you're right, 0.6% of the time. And part of it is because the stuff that you want is super cool, but it's not what they're saying. You take one word for what they say and are like, yeah, nobody wants M counts. We've tried this before. Nobody wants the origin of the Force, right? Because that's what M counts are. Nobody wants that shit. We tried it with the Sith 100 times. Nobody wants that shit. They actually kind of gave us stories of the origin of Jedi. They fucking suck, bro. Don't do that. Huh?
I always thought M counts would lead to, I don't know if anybody ever watched Dragon Ball Z when they were younger, but you always have to think of like, what's their power level at? Like, if you start doing the M counts, you're like, oh, he's only got 9,000 midichlorians. Like,
well, that's kind of what they did, right? In the one movie, which show was it where they started? Oh, in the High Republic one. Remember, weren't they testing them too? Weren't they doing blood tests?
That was Bad Batch. Listen, they called it M count, but that was Bad Batch.
Oh.
I can tell you one thing. This movie could be 100% better than the fucking sequel trilogy. I can give you that, man. And that's the expectation I want to go into, thinking it's going to be better than that fucking series.
Oh, bro. I think, hey, listen. Hey, as long as you don't shit. Hey, Dom, on that one, I'm with you. And as long as you don't shit in a bag and then try to eat it, I think you're okay. Like, because, that was just dog shit. Like, that's
I think Mangold's going to do what he's going to do. I just don't think, I don't want people to get like, super like invested in like, oh, he's gonna do Old Republic lore, he's gonna do like actual Dawn of the Force and all that. Like,
you know what this sounds like?
He's gonna do what he's gonna do, and like Wookiee said, just don't have too deep of expectations.
Here's the thing. Hold on one second, John. Then I'll move on. Here's the thing.
I already hit the button. Too late.
Remember when they said that what's his name was gonna do his version of Star Wars, Rebel Moon? Turned out to be Rebel Moon, which was nothing like Star Wars. It was really dog shit. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Mangold is like, oh, I'm going to do my version of this.
I mean, Mangold's got, hit movie under his belt now with Complete Unknown. That looks like it's probably going to win Oscar or something. I don't know.
Yeah, fair.
I mean, I'm all for letting the guy do what he wants to do, and let's see how it works out. But I'm like Wookiee fanatic there. I'm just saying, don't crank up your expectations too high of what it might be. But,
JJ.
This was our rumor this week. For unconfirmed rumors, as Christopher was saying, this was that unconfirmed rumor. I didn't want to put it in there, but we were a little weak on news, and Dom sent it to me like twice in the chat. So apparently Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to be in Ahsoka season 2. I'm assuming it's part of the flashbacks. It didn't actually say that. One can only assume, yeah. And then we're going to get, is it Alyssa? I think was her name, first name Greenblatt, who's the one that plays the younger Ahsoka, and we're going to get more Hayden Christensen in there too. I don't know
how long was it.
You know me in flashbacks?
Yeah.
But my thing is like, so that flashback was the clear motivation for advancing Ahsoka's character and getting her, involved to be a hero, be a Jedi again, blah, blah, blah. But like, what are we going to do with this now? We're going to have another flashback with more characters in it to motivate her a second time? I don't understand what the purpose is.
I think that Anakin is still teaching Ahsoka. Anakin's there.
She's a 40-year-old.
Yeah, but she still has. I'm telling you, what's going to happen is there's reasons for this for Ahsoka because of the
reason is
same as season 1.
Do you guys want to know what the reason is? You want to know what the reason is? Fans really like this fucking scene. So Dave's like, shit, I'm just gonna do it again.
Yeah, it's called
because that's what the fuck he
creativity. Does. Yeah, it's called lack of creativity.
Yeah, we just mentioned this with the Balin thing. What's going on, Black Spiders? That's exactly what he does. He puts something out, and whatever people like, then he tries to do it. Mind you, it typically does not turn out for the second time.
We got flashbacks on our flashbacks now.
Yeah, I know, right?
So, I don't know. We'll see if it actually happens. Again, it's just a rumor at this point.
It is. It's weird.
Hopefully, it doesn't happen. I don't know, but you can be for it or against it. And other things that nobody asked for, they're still kind of fun in a way. So the remake of Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles, which is an old PlayStation 1 game, came out, and we saw Jar Jar Binks was added as a surprise playable character in it. Which kind of defeats the purpose of the Jedi Power Battles, but okay.
I want to see him turn dark. Dark Jar Jar.
But yeah, so I don't know, it's just a fun little thing. Of course, Aspire is the company releasing it, who has a terrible track record of launching video games, so we'll see how well that turns out. It's probably going to be like 18 glitches by the time you download the thing. But we'll see. But still a fun little thing. And other video game news, apparently, now granted, this is Europe. They didn't have numbers for North America. They didn't really release the numbers. But apparently in Europe, Jedi Survivor, which was a game released in 2023, mind you, outsold Star Wars Outlaws, which is a game released in 2024.
You sucked. That sucked.
The sales for Star Wars Outlaws, at least in Europe, were lagging very much behind, which is not good news for Ubisoft, who's in terrible, dire financial trouble right now. So Ubisoft may be getting the sword, or was it seppuku, the Japanese ritual where they off themselves out of shame. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing with it. Don't come up with a game that like has got bugs and problems with it already, because you're gonna have a lot of issues, especially in open world. I mean, I think open world has always had a negative connotation because of microtransactions anyhow. And then secondly, like, you're not comparing games to game, right? Like Jedi Survivor was you just bought it for the story walkthrough. So you bought it through the walkthrough, not really open world. It had some great cutscenes and everything else, where like you were trying something with Outlaws, and obviously you have to get that shit right. And they did not get that shit right at all, dude. Like,
they used the tired formula, I think, was part of it, which kind of made people receptively say, like, I mean, we get it. It's, everything Ubisoft has done before. And they've kind of ran that concept into the ground at Ubisoft. At first, it sounds like a great idea. It's like, let's have the people that, are kind of back to Assassin's Creed or at least technically speaking, back to Assassin's Creed and all that. And let's put out an open world game where you're a criminal. But then on the flip side of that, you have to realize Assassin's Creed games, while they've ticked up in being quality, there was a period there where they were horrible in quality and nobody wanted them. And Ubisoft has had its own problems before this, as far as the company goes. They had I can't remember the name of the game. Like, it launched so softly and nobody bought it. It was a pirate game they sunk a ton of money into it. I'm talking like hundreds of millions of dollars into the thing. And it did worse than Outlaws did as far as sales. So they dug their own grave, effectively, as a company. So
yeah. I just think in general, like, I don't know, man. Like, it had to come off like a rock star. I just can't compare the two to each other's two. You know what I mean? Like, what's the future of Outlaws supposed to be itself on an open world build where you're trying to get 3 out of Survivor, different format of games, and like, to be honest with you, open worlds besides the Zelda one that worked out really well for a couple minutes.
Skull and Bones. Thank you, Mike. That was the name.
But
of the
game. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, a lot of them, I don't know. They don't have. I don't know. It's not like it's tough to compare the two, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And I mean, it is kind of an unfair comparison in a way. Jedi Survivor, had its hype and had a prequel that helped it sell too. So, or I shouldn't even say, I guess you could call it a prequel, but in which way, there's reasons why it sold well and did well. But yeah, the fact that it, at least in Europe, outsold a game that got outsold by a game that was year old is not good. So, not good at all. Last order of the day, something fun and new. And we're kind of doing this a little bit with Marco's first appearance, so I decided to throw this in news. But there's a documentary out called "Creating an Epic: The Making of the New Jedi Order," which is on YouTube. You can watch it now. I think a couple episodes are out. But it's a really interesting take on I think it was 19 books total that made up the New Jedi Order.
Yeah.
And kind of the publishing initiative behind it and how that came about and all that, which kind of reminds me of High Republic in a way. And it was an initiative undertaken to publish kind of this new era of Star Wars, so to speak. And that's what it reminded me a lot of. So this is a fun, interesting thing to check out. I think it's supposed to be 8 episodes long. It's only like a third of the way through, but an interesting take.
They use on Vong over fucking High Republic any fucking day, but
yeah. Well, there's a lot of bad with the good in that era.
Yeah,
there's some hugely bad with it.
Yeah. So
actually, we're gonna cover a little something too with Legacy later on, and I think that's kind of what we're doing with some of the. What we're gonna do with some of the other stuff too, like some of the like going forward with the explaining comics, because I think people forget sometimes what are in some of these comics. We're using the first experiences as excuses, but we're gonna show you some of the insides on some of these and kind of explain what's going on in them. And like, I don't know, man. I saw something today when I was going back to read, and I'm like, oh, that's some bullshit. So, yeah, fair enough. I like that type of stuff. So
yeah,
well,
it's
look,
gonna be interesting.
Even though it was
Speaking of Star
divisive,
Wars.
you had the original trio. You had Luke, Han, and Leia that were in this thing. Yes, you had new characters and anything, but they were the one with the driving force in this. People want Luke, Han, and Leia, and that's. I'm telling you, I don't care what anybody says, man. Anything made in the
you read the headline, right? Everybody wants that, right? But you read the headline, right? Where it was one of the most divisive sagas in Star Wars.
Not more divisive than the Last Jedi and the bullshit they're putting out now. Come on, man, really? Come on.
At the time, it was pretty divisive among Star Wars fans. But yeah,
I'll take this over the shit they're putting out now. I really will.
You didn't even read these, Dom. Come on.
I actually read the first 2 books. That was it. I read books
19
before.
of them.
I know, but look, I read the first 2. But the whole fact is that at the end of the day, I read the whole comic fucking series. I know the comics aren't the novel, but I still read the whole comic series. That came out with the whole Yuzan Vong, But I don't
know. I'm just saying, no.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I said, it is what it is. It's an interesting thing to watch. Like I said, it reminded me a lot of High Republic and stuff like that as far as creating new initiatives.
Zaggy.
Yeah. Still fun.
I read the best.
That's it.
I read the best 2 versions of that.
First 2 are the best 2, and that's it.
All right. Do you want to get in skeleton or do you want to do comics?
You pick.
Dom, you pick.
Let's do Skeleton Crew because do the comics. We can end it with comics.
That's fine. Yeah. All right. So reading. We'll end with reading. All right. Skeleton Crew. Here we go. Dom. Sorry, JJ. Go
it's
ahead.
like Cliff Notes too. I was like, well, I've read the comic book version, so it's all right.
I know, but listen, you know what? I don't know. I just read, like I said, I read the first 2 novels.
Yeah,
but
like I said, there was good and bad. There was some good in that series, but there's a lot of bad too.
Yeah,
it shouldn't have been 19 books. That was probably one thing that was made way too long and too full of garbage. But yeah. Anyway, on to Skeleton Crew, episode 7.
Hey, Wookiee.
Listen,
slow down.
A moon killed freaking goddamn Chewbacca, not the Vog. The moon. Hey, listen. Hey, look, Luke's son, Han's son died. He freaking died. He was the one that killed. He was the one that killed Chewbacca, and Han never forgave him, and then he wound up dying anyway. So it was a sad thing that the kids died.
Okay, Skeleton Crew it is. Let's get into
Skeleton Crew. Episode 7 again.
Damn it, Wookiee fanatic.
So an interesting series. We get to a point.
So what is this? This is episode 7, right?
Yes.
So we've got to a point in the series where the kids are now on their way home. That's where we left it off.
Hold on, real quickly. We did not get the flashback that Dom promised. Can we just state that?
No, there was no flashback in this.
No flashback.
I loved it.
You know what? And I was
actually. There's one thing that might prove that all of Dom's theories, and you probably have this in a shot. I didn't want to say it. All of Dom's theories pretty much got unproven in this episode too. However,
what happened?
There may still be one out there. We don't know. But yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Anyways, we open with the parents building a beacon which to contact the children. If you remember in it was the 5th episode, I think it was, it showed them kind of sneaking around trying to build this thing so that the kids could get word out to the kids. But the beacon, its construction a little bit looks like the Jedi beacon, but it kind of, in its purpose, reminded me of that, is where it would go out and send this like unceasing message to contact the children.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting throwback, at least conceptually there.
Yeah.
And then we get a bad feelings reference. Everybody in Star Wars always has bad feelings at least once. So Wim's mom in this case has a bad feeling. Doesn't even get to finish a sentence before the droid cops show up. And then so the parents take this on what was apparently a last-second lateral play on a kickoff to win the game.
Yeah.
As each one of them like basically runs down the forest or whatever and hands it off to the next parent. The only thing missing was the band. I didn't see the band come out on the field in the middle of it.
They should have played the Benny Hill song.
I did think it was interesting that now granted they are acting illegally, but the droids also don't kill them.
Hold on. Give them it. Dude, can't wait till the last episode when they reveal that the fucking
Misa supervisor.
Yeah, Misa supervisor.
Supervisor. Better be something good.
Ring the
man.
bell! That would be hilarious, but I don't think it's happening. So. All right, go ahead.
But anyways, so I thought it was interesting that they stunned them. They didn't actually try to aggressively kill them or anything, which, apparently you're not going to probably... The droids also know who's in on it, too, so they don't probably want to kill, like, the undersecretary or whatever the hell Fern's mom is on the planet or something like that. That might look bad. So, anyways, they're out to stun all the parents as they try to launch this beacon. Fern's mom eventually launches it, by the way. And then we've cut to a scene where they're playing grab ball, which grab ball we've actually seen in Star Wars comics and stuff before. So
What about is that slapball? Is that slapball? Is that the Neil's game of slapball that he talked about in the episode when he was on the?
It might be. Yep. They might just be calling it something different.
Yeah.
But basically, it's more or less grab ball minus the goal kind of thing, all the get up. But yeah.
I don't have a problem with them in the beginning part with the parents trying to get out of there. I thought it was good. The ship finding thing, are we getting into that later too?
Ship finding?
Or like how it's that we figure out what's the point of this ship?
Oh yeah. That's definitely
fun. Yeah, I really good. I really thought. But this people, but here's what did I miss it? Did I miss it in the beginning, JJ? Is there a reason why that droid thing could get out of the planet?
Droid thing.
The beacon.
Well, they mentioned when she's building it. Let me go back. Fern's mom hands her part, which that part is the this is the thing that Wim's dad was trying to get.
Oh, okay.
In the one episode, when he got caught. Yeah, it's like a code that breaks through, that allows it to pass through the barrier or whatever.
Good, because I have another question. Oh no, I've answered my own question. Okay, yeah. Okay.
So it's basically two parts that we know was the code breaker part or whatever you call it that Fern's mom gives them, and then the other part was the transmitter, which had the antenna.
Excellent. Yeah.
But yes, that is what that little blue ship was.
Yeah,
by the way, Dom was also kind of right about something too.
When the beacon went up, it's kind of like ET. Remember when they got the beacon out to ET's homeworld?
It was shaped like an ET spaceship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But anyways, this is the part we get to see is the pirate ship actually arrives first, or the pirate, I guess, station, whatever you want to call it.
Station.
Frigate, I guess would be the
frigate. It is.
Yeah. Anyway, shows up first, and you get to see the outside of Manhattan for the first time. So it is a gigantic nebula storm, which we knew. Brutus seems to think that that's all it is just a big nebula planet. But it kind of reminds you of Treasure Planet, where they're like, there's no way into the planet, and it's blocked off from the rest of the world. That was a big plot point of Disney's Treasure Planet, which you kind of see a reference to here a little bit. The interesting was they send a volunteer to the nebula, quote unquote volunteer, to see what the nebula is all about.
Yeah, the poor volunteer. You know who he is?
Yeah. Who?
The one that was going to get the farm, and he was going to settle down next to the ocean.
Oh yeah,
that poor dude.
Yeah. It's always the last day before retirement or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but anyway, the ship is actually the same ship we saw in the season of Mandalorian. So, interesting thing. I think they called them. It was a type of fighter. I can't remember what the name of it was. Snub fighter. I think snub fighter.
Episode season 3 with the other pirates when they. Yeah.
So, we've seen pirates use that before. We also find out a lot about the ship. This is the part that Marco was talking about. Jod comes to the realization when the kids show up with the ship that the ship is the key to passing through the barrier. It is hidden. He miraculously convinces the other pilots not to throw him out of the airlock once the kids show up. But the ship kind of passing through different barriers kind of reminds me of like a legendary pirate ship like Flying Dutchman, where it kind of passed through the world of the living and the world of the damned, all that type of stuff. So
that old lady saved him twice.
Yeah, the old lady is like his guardian angel.
John's mom. I'm just saying.
Don't know. Yeah,
it might be. But here's what I'm asking. But here's what I have a question with this. It sounds like this wasn't the only. It sounds like there's like multiple ships at this fucking thing. Like,
what do you mean?
Well, I mean,
there kind of are. They do reason that later. You're saying of this type?
Yeah, like that have the codes out there. Like it doesn't sound so secret as we were led to believe in the beginning.
So the code is apparently you're right. It's not as secretive as we were led to begin. You kind of find that out later. But the code is apparently a transponder part of the ship. We'll get to that in a little bit. I put a little bit more of that in there too. But this is the part where, of course, the kids get pulled in by the tractor beam. The ship gets boarded by the pirate crew. Brutus is the first on there. I know, right? I was hoping that Urkel would die this episode. Yep. But yeah. Instead, we get Brutus getting captured by the claw machine that is on the ship, apparently. And getting a bolt to the brain for his trouble from Jod. So Jod apparently is the opportunist of all pirates. One thing that I thought was interesting was he breaks his cuff. I'm assuming he's using the Force. He breaks his kind out of his cuffs kind of with a great amount of ease. We didn't apparently do that prior to that. So I don't know. Apparently that's a thing where he doesn't have a reason to do it, so he's not.
Well, the whole thing is that I know that he was probably hiding his abilities from the pirates, and nobody really knows he has the abilities. Because at the same time, running from the Empire that was hunting down Jedi, so that's why he probably. I'm just saying.
We don't know that. Again, you were right up until that second part. But yes, I think he was hiding his abilities from the rest of the crew.
Yeah.
But the funny,
I actually thought that was really done well. I didn't know what. See, I don't know where you're going to and where you're getting back to because I didn't reach this head.
Yeah, when he shoots Brutus, I thought it was interesting that he said Brutus was a mutineer, but basically he's committing mutiny right there by killing the current pirate leader and taking over.
Yeah,
which is what mutiny is.
Which is what he did also with the robot. But here's the deal. I really like that they shot Brutus like that. I was like, damn, they're going to save this guy again and say he's stupid. He's just going to be in a prison. It's going to be reverse roles. I'm glad they shot him. The only thing, like I said, once again, I'm just pissed that they didn't throw fucking Urkel out of the airlock. But all the rest of it was done very well, exceptionally well.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that him taking over his old crew was very interesting that they got it back that easily. Which I'm glad they did it that way and didn't make it like a long, drawn out thing because this way it keeps it more focused on the story of Atten and the kids and stuff like that. If we got like a whole episode of Jod getting his pirate crew back, I think it would have been a mistake.
With the guy in the back, look how happy he is. The guy in the back.
Yeah, everybody's super happy that Brutus is dead. Jod kind of says that as a foreshadowing, where Brutus says like, I should have thrown you out that airlock, and Jod was like, I wouldn't do that. The crew loves me. Apparently, the crew, I don't know that they really love him, but
yeah, that's what I was saying.
People like him.
No, I don't know if they really love him, but they definitely don't like Brutus. They see Jod as one of them, and maybe because it's a bunch of people who are down on their luck and trotting, and like, you see this a lot of times in real life too, like people who just like life ain't going well for them, so eventually they find somebody else who life ain't going well for it, and they kind of team up, and they'll never be the leaders of anything, but they'll at least like be together, and they'll like misery loves company. But Jod, who looks like he's always miserable, then tries to lead again because like he's their hope of like, hey, listen, if Jod can lead, if he could shoot Brutus in the head, maybe one day I could, get teeth or something, or I don't know, whatever these guys are looking. That pig nose guy fix his nose. What the fuck? I mean, who knows? You know what I mean? So I mean, I think this is great. I loved every bit of it. Huh?
Michael has the solution to your Urkel problem.
What's that?
Neil will accidentally shoot Urkel and say, "Did I do that?"
Oh, dude, that would be hilarious.
But yeah,
John is good. Yeah, John's cool, man.
Yeah, I like that kind of retake over. The weird thing about this was he gets the helm back, which I thought was interesting. Like, did they hang on to it for him for like the time he was gone or something? Like,
no, just
Brutus wasn't using it, so they're like, well, let's just keep it around. What the hell? But yeah, apparently he gets his helm back. Also, I found it was interesting the way he described the kids to the pirate crew when he tells them to take back the ship. He's like, you'll find 4 scared children and take them hostage. Like, he doesn't say like, do anything real evil to them. He just says they're scared kids, take them hostage.
Yeah.
Interesting bit.
Yeah.
But then we get Fern's mom, which obviously this looks 18 million different Star Wars references I could have used to this hologram here of of Fern's mom appearing. But this gave us a lot of background on the barrier and the ship and things like that. We learned, most importantly,
there goes Neil's dad. I sent the picture of that. Hey. I sent the picture of that to you guys.
Yeah. So yeah, we got to see Neil's dad.
So
you didn't see?
You don't look at the chat half the time. I sent the thing.
No, I saw it here. I just didn't see it. I didn't look at the chat for Dom to send us a picture while we're watching the show. About
no, because they had a picture of Neil's dad, and I said, "Oh shit, look!" And I sent it, and it was the picture. With,
yeah, Neil's definitely taking after his mom. Well,
I watched the fucking TV show, so why the fuck? Yeah, I don't know. He looks awesome. I like him.
Yeah, he doesn't say anything. We don't know anything.
Are they
about
of the
him,
same species?
It's kind of funny.
They are,
but yeah, they look completely different.
Where was he in the beginning when they got the beacon out? Where was he?
Working, Dom.
Oh.
Look, he's still got his fucking work glues on, bro.
I know, but everybody was working. Everybody was supposed to be working. They all ran. You got to protect your wife.
No, she's got like a cape on and shit. And she's got some lemonade.
They can only afford one elephant person in makeup or whatever.
What was that movie? What's that guy's name? George.
I'm just saying,
garbage man. He had the bald head. That's who he looks like.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't let my wife go out by herself like that. I'd be by her side. Piece of shit.
This is the first touching moment we got to. I thought
you don't know the robots might have had him buried in some tunnel.
I thought the message to the kids was really well done as far as like touching them. And the one guy is a total asshole, by the way. The one pirate, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna like stab you for wanting to listen to your parents. Like talk.
Oh, yeah.
There was also one hilarious part of the message too, where they're like, "Oh yeah, and don't tell anybody that you're from Manhattan." And Sean's like, "Oops,
whoops."
Yeah,
I like that.
There's a lot of humor in this one too. I think they added the extra humor because they shot somebody in it. So
yeah, well, it's real dramatic scene. You gotta break it up a little bit with something human. But yeah, so this part though is where we learned a lot about the barrier and the ship and the way the Republic actually already knows about that. So that answered that question, that the Republic not only knows, but they have special emissaries.
I know, but if they know,
how do they know?
When Kim told you're not gonna believe it, the friggin' X-Wing fighter pilots that went on the island when he was Crimson Jack.
Well, they're obviously keeping it a secret, so not everybody knows. There's special emissaries.
Yeah,
and those are the only ones.
And two, you got to remember, there's a time switch here. The credits are pre-Empire. So, like, it must have been, like, to JJ's point, not everybody fucking knew about this. Because there's a time period where the Empire would have just come in, defeated this planet, and grabbed all the fucking gold and ran, obviously. They would have plunged.
Well, we don't know.
So it must have been really button fucking up, I think is what they were trying to tell us here. Mm-hmm. Is that it's and that's kind of what I was asking, like, how many emissaries could there be? And, like, I kind of hope they do a short story about, like,
yeah, we don't know that. All we know is that Wim's dad tells them to find an emissary, and
that you wouldn't.
The emissaries have the ability to pass through the barrier as well.
But how the fuck?
The parents don't seem to know anything about the ship. They don't seem to know that the ship is the Onyx Cinder and can pass through the barrier on its own. Either.
Yeah,
they seem to think they need to contact.
But here's the other thing too: like, how do you find an emissary without saying you're from Adam?
That's true too. But another thing we found out too is that the kids don't find out until they graduate what things are about. So that's a big thing that
So apparently all the adults know, but the kids don't know.
Yeah. I know we're going to talk about the ship, that the ship was able to go through. Now the full fact is that we all know that friggin' Tack Renard had the ship. Where did he get the ship from?
They tell you that. I'll get to that.
No,
it's actually different. It's different than that, actually. I'll get to it eventually. You don't have to wait. You keep jumping the gun on my review. Just wait. We'll get to it.
I did. Dom pulled it down. Dom pulled it down. Yeah, Dom pulled it down.
But we get a scene of Unclaimsies, which takes us back to episode
1. I like that. Unclaimsies.
Fern's first instinct is to form a plan to take advantage of Jod's greed and all that. And right in the middle of the planning, you get an attack from Wim as he rushes in, and the kids easily get snatched up. But we learned from SN33 rather comically that you cannot be the captain of two pirate crews at the same time. So the Onyx Cinder is currently unclaimed, and Wim unfortunately has a stutter at that moment and doesn't get to claim the ship. But then Fern wisely uses Wim's strategy from episode 1 to use Unclaimsies, which apparently turns out to be kind of corny. But at the same time, I think SM33 has wanted to do this for like 6 episodes, so I'm all.
I know, that's funny.
Punching Shot in the face as he kind of forgets the whole pirate code thing and just.
Well, he did like the Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Wait, what the fuck? Wait, hold on. What the? Okay, I actually had a question about this. What the fuck happened here, and what is Unclaimsies?
So if you remember episode 1, well, so what happened was there was the scene where SM33 takes control. or doesn't take control. Sorry, he tells Jod that no one currently has control because you can't be captain twice.
Yes,
and,
absolutely. Yes.
Webb tries to claim it, and Jod covers his mouth real quick and claims it instead. And then claims these refers back to episode 1, if you remember right, when both Fern and Wim were arguing over who found the ship, buried or whatever.
Yeah.
Fern tries to say she's claiming the ship for them and KB, and Wim uses the argument, well, he says unclaimsies. And you get that, like, who's claiming it argument. Well, that's what the kids try to use here, was she's claiming it. She's calling it unclaimsies and claiming it for the kids instead. Yeah. Which isn't a real thing. I think it's just SM33 just decides to sign with the kids finally and punches John.
Yeah. Okay. That's why I was confused. I was like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah. I think it was just SM33 just kind of saying,
I was just trying to
this guy.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I was confused about that shit. I was just like,
it was a little corny, but like I said,
it's a kid's show, man. That's why it's funny though. That was funny.
Yeah. And we thought they've obviously had at least actually more than one standoff between him and Jod. So I think he's been wanting to do that for a while, probably. But this is the part where we got into the details of the ship. As the fight, we find out that not only the ship is flying into the nebula, it's not just a toxic nebula that protects it. It's also this system, which looks a lot like Operation Cinder.
Didn't I tell that to you? When they were on a couple of weeks ago, I said about Operation Cinder with the when they were on Akron with the satellites in the sky.
Yeah.
I mentioned that.
Yeah, and Onyx Cinder is also very close to that too. But apparently the Onyx Cinder can pass through this barrier unharmed by these kind of electronics. So it's protected by both technology and the nebula itself.
Wait, hold on. Dom said because it was called Onyx Cinder and there was something called Operation Cinder.
No, I said no.
And you said that thing looks
the like satellites. We didn't know what the satellites looked like. We saw broken ones over at Akron before they went there.
You guys do understand what Operation Cinder was and how it did.
It was the essentially plan from the Emperor when the Emperor died and he was in the robot with
but it wasn't like it was different. Like it was
to protect. It was to protect an invading force from an invading force.
But it was just it was a power core that would push down. Well, it was different. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Yeah.
You mean like a giant power core that would push out lightning like that? Was it like that?
No. It wasn't. It was like no. It was smaller versions of the Death Star that were to blow up planets. It was a planetary device to kill planets. Not an electrical storm. I thought these were just like storms.
Well, this wasn't an electrical storm. This was a protection. And Dom's right. When they go into the other planet, they actually mentioned that too when they get kind of pulled in by autopilot or whatever. That's the same system.
Yes,
that
it was in the campaign. Yes, for not just for Battlefront 2, but not for PS4. Is also for Xbox, but yes, for the game.
Yep.
I don't know what's going on with my clicking today.
Anyhow, this answers your question. So SM33 explains that one of Tak Renard's brilliant ideas was to actually steal a ship from the Mint to use to get in and out of the planet. So the Onyx Cinder actually originally comes from the Mint. It's not an emissary ship or a ship built outside the planet. It's actually from. Okay. It's from, and even Wim says it too. It's not a pirate ship. It's an Adden ship. So it was built there, meant to pass down the barrier.
I thought they just gave. Well, an emissary would typically be somebody from Adden. Like that's how emissaries work.
Well, emissaries
are somebody from that country.
No, emissaries can come from other.
Well, if you're an
emissary is usually at least
emissary for the United States.
Yeah, you're gonna send an emissary to negotiate or something like that with another country, right?
Yeah, they're typically but they also go to embassies, hence the name, and they're usually citizens of the country where they're from, in a separate country.
That would be an ambassador.
Well, yeah, I mean, I get it.
Not an emissary.
Similar to
now the question is, he explains he stole the ship. How did Tak Renard get on the planet prior?
Well, I don't know that.
That's what I'm saying. You're gonna find out eventually. Maybe the school.
No. It's easy. I got the solution for that. Because now I remember it as Jay is saying it. My impression is he waited for a ship to come out because it said it came out from the Mint, and then he confiscated it. So he followed it and confiscated it.
Yeah,
that could be that he got in space. That they
which is still why I thought it was still is why I believe the emissaries are still originally from Adden. I think it's like they send out, part of their program is to send out people, much like ambassadors, but like they go out into the world and do different jobs. So they'll be
right. Yeah, I can see that. That would be an ambassador. But yeah, I can see that where you're saying they're from Adatin and they go to the Republic planets to represent Adatin.
Hey, John, we'll probably
but like even they'll join like the Republic like X-Wing squad, or they'll do something to that effect where they're actually out there. I mean, I don't want to say sleeper agent. I'm not saying, because I don't think they're spot. You know what I mean? But like they talk to the government, they talk to the Republic, and they say, hey, could you put one of our people in one of your areas, and then when we need to, we can get you credits, and like we'll work back like that. So it's like, I guess it is. It's kind of like a spy. I guess I don't know. I don't like a combination of the two. Like not. I guess spies just got such a.
We'll find out later in the episode. Well, that's not necessarily true.
Really quick.
Yeah,
Jod is posing as an emissary coming in, right?
Yeah. Yes.
In the scene.
Oh, right. So they would have had to know.
So they would know that
right.
He's not in their network, and they apparently did.
Now, let me ask you a question now.
Well, the robots would.
Well, the robots are, I think, programmed by the supervisor, and if the supervisor's dead, and it's just a program that goes like a regular beacon on, that continued that he's just a robot. That the person that was there left a message that continues to control the other robots to do their duty. So,
Again, dealing with things we don't actually know yet, but yes, that's a possibility. Yes. Yeah. But yeah. So we figure out that Adatin is a box world, meaning that it is like Exegol. It's a small world within this gigantic nebula kind of entity. But yes, and apparently it's both a nebula and technology that protect it. But you get to see the actual planet there. And then do we get the death of 33? I don't know. So we find out John snuck back on the ship. 33 goes to take care of him.
Everybody saw that coming. Everybody saw that.
Yeah. We get to see, unfortunately, the lightsaber lop his head off.
The fact is that the furnace escaped out of the eye. We're going to be in so much trouble. And then the freaking Wim goes, I don't even care. He goes, well, you should. And he's like, oh, shit.
Yeah,
that was good.
Yeah, but everybody saw that coming, right?
Dom got a death. It wasn't a child death, but Dom should be pleased there was a death in this episode.
Well, there wasn't that freaking goddamn Brutus. Fucking Brutus got killed.
Well, I mean, from the good guy's side. But yeah,
I know. Just hey, look, it's.
But then we get an F them kids moment from Jod. I've had enough to hear with them damn kids. So
Fuck those kids.
And he goes after your boy Marco first. He goes after Neil first, just out of the blue. He's like,
I know.
I'm over there, damn jabbering.
But now we know what Neil's dad looks like, so he better watch his mouth, because that dude, Neil, might just grow some tusks and fucking tusk his ass to death. So
yeah, but John definitely with the F them kids moment, like he's had enough. He takes them like they're hostages at a bank or something.
Terrible.
That's funny. I like to tell the kids you're a bunch of spoiled brats.
Are we going to talk more about Jod and the lightsaber or no?
We can. I don't have too much.
So here's what I'm going to say about this. Okay, good. I didn't want to spoil. I didn't want to pull it down, JJ. So I'm asking for clearance for it. Mm-hmm. If you watch,
don't spoil that. But
what's that?
Go ahead.
Go through. Yeah. I'll talk about later. Talk about later. There's comments there.
You talk about the way he swings it here. He's swinging it very like he. So in this scene, he uses a lightsaber right to kind of intimidate the kid, which works, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but he's swinging it very oddly, almost like he doesn't quite know how to fully use the thing.
That's what I was gonna say. Gonna say is like he seems like, and this is where Dom and his like I don't think this Jude Law guy is that bad of an actor. Where if he had some skill level lightsaber, because that was a question that Dom had brought up, he's like, well, did you see he got it in his hand and he knew what he was doing with it because he could turn it on? No, I get that.
He was good. I'm just saying the fact that he just finish off what we're talking about.
Dom, your whole thing is that he's been trained by Jedi.
I'm not saying
that's the question. Like, Jedi
I would say he's very awkward.
He very much uses it like he hasn't been trained, right?
He's very awkward. It's very interesting how his motions are with it. It does not seem, and it could be maybe he just hasn't used the one in a very long time, but it seemed more than that. Even when he's holding it to the side at the end, it seemed like most times they use it as an attachment. Even Padawans get it to a point where it becomes like Luke Skywalker was less clumsy than this guy with it. He
Luke
seems very
Skywalker lights him with his eye. Come on, man.
No, that was Luke. Shot his eye.
Yeah, Luke was shot. Come on.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that
I get that, but like when he's actually using against the droid thing, he could actually function with it. The movements that Jude Law was making, or John was moving, and I don't think the guy's a bad actor, so I would assume that he wouldn't purposely make those mistakes. Mm-hmm. It was very awkward. Very awkward.
Yeah.
I know, but the whole thing is that training-wise, he probably didn't get the training that he was supposed to. He was
his mom trained him.
Look, well, his mom trained him, but maybe she died in Order 66, and he didn't get the training as much as he should have, and was picked up by pirates. Went off. I'm just saying the fact is that we could be seeing a Peter Quill type of scenario picked up by in Guardians of the Galaxy, that he was a kid and he wound up going with the Ravagers, the freaking pirates. So we could see this.
But no, I mean it doesn't.
But Peter Quill wasn't trained.
He didn't seem to know how. Yeah, he didn't. He seems like a normal kid that just picked up a toy and is like, okay, yeah. I mean, if you say he's trained by his mom, like he would have had.
Granted, to a little fairness to Dom, he is using it to intimidate the kids. So I think he's also purposely showing it off like slowly to them.
Yeah,
like when you show a person a knife, like I wouldn't mind cutting you with this knife.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what he's doing. He's showing it off so the kids see it and like, listen, I'll slice up your parents if you do something, which is also kind of a cold.
I think the odds of his mom being the pirate lady, there's more odds of that lady being his mom than some Jedi Knight, is all I'm saying after watching this episode.
No,
I don't know.
Hard to say. I don't disagree with that.
Dude, that'd be funny if he's like, I'm gonna call my mom, and then all of a sudden she comes flying down in that ship.
We get a scene where the parents are locked in the principal's office, so to speak, here, and they get a lecture from the droid. But I thought we've seen this actually a little bit before. But here's another image kind of like of worshiping the supervisor.
Art Deco type worshiping, yeah.
And which cuts to then this scene where two things happen in this. We got a Stephen Fry, who's unfamiliar with him, is a great British actor with a great number of character roles, doing the voice of the supervisor who comes over the comm here. But we also get the fact that he was in Holmes with Jude Law, Sherlock and Holmes. But
it's the guy that plays. Oh, nice.
If you look at the symbol and the shape of the symbol right there, and now go back and look at this Art Deco type thing. Now, granted, there's a second person behind the droid you can't see very well. I can get a good shot of that, but it's very.
Do it again.
Shape-wise, is very similar to that. So, and as Kim showed us in episode 3, I think it was the symbol is two things overlapping to create that symbol. So. Little interesting background on the supervisor, and maybe that the supervisor, the symbol of the planet and all that, is obviously something the supervisor probably created.
But I know it's his voice, but he's probably either an alien being or a robot.
Yeah, I mean it could be a robot voice too.
What?
But they credit him.
Oh, they're technically all. Dom, spoiler alert about Star Wars. They're all technically aliens.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying
like if they're not from that planet,
he's not a humanoid. He's more of a robot or a alien species. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it could be just his voice too, right? I mean, it could be a robot voice, and we don't know.
We got the Wizard of Oz over here.
It's a robot voice. I don't think it's a robot voice. I'll be back in 1 second.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't exactly know what it is. I don't know if he'll be playing. All the speculation is that Stephen Fry will be playing the supervisor. I don't know if that's necessarily true. The supervisor may not even exist. The voice may be all we get. Like you said, the Wizard of Oz. Maybe the voice behind the curtain type of thing is him.
But you know what? Those paintings do have a big standing on who's behind that curtain. It gives an idea. Even in Wim's house, or even when they showed in which he has the thing. So the art sometimes intimidates the it intimidates the actual what's going on. So he could be You ever think that he might turn out the game master from fucking Thor Ragnarok type of like character like that?
Well, I mean, it goes to show too that this is a society that worships him, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he could be like the game master type thing, or like
the game master. Yep.
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum's character. Yeah.
So you might see like a less eccentric version, maybe, of Jeff Goldblum, or maybe just as eccentric. I don't know, but with the. Like this here kind of shows to me that it's almost like a Wayseeker used the word cult, I think, back when we were first talking about it. Kind of seems cult-like.
It
right?
does. No, it does. No, it does. But it should be very interesting because I wonder how long the episode is this week because they gotta
I haven't looked. I don't know. But yeah, they got some things to tie up with the supervisor. And I think we'll probably get hopefully some answers. That's the one thing we haven't got answers on yet. We got a lot this week on the ship and the background and everything else that we've all gone over. We haven't got much on the supervisor.
Definitely TAC Red Nod is going to be a little different. It's going to be that's going to be a while. They'll probably make a comic or something like that.
Yeah.
Or
I thought the X-Men Blackbird, by the way, was going to come up.
I know, right? That's what it looked
like. It looked like it was Professor Xavier's school there. But why couldn't we tell all these people that occasionally the ground is going to open a giant fucking hole underneath you?
They're unaware of that.
Out of the way. Yeah.
I can't believe they're unaware of that. Like they were like freaking going all over the place, falling. It's like that was interesting.
Yeah, but maybe a little bit more warning before that happens. But I just thought that was pretty funny. But the interesting thing
before you go on, I'm sorry. Go
ahead.
I have I don't know if this isn't a really good theory, but what if the supervisor isn't there? Like, what if it is a combination of what you guys were talking about? What if it kind of is the Wizard of Oz? But like, if you look, like it looks like there was a male, the one in the first one. Now that looks like a female thing that they're all focusing on. What if the supervisor isn't on this planet? What if the supervisor's on someplace else?
Yeah. And
they're just voicing down here and they find out that it is literally just like a hologramic voice box in the background. I don't know. I'm just saying it's possible.
We don't know that yet. And we also, we don't know the full tie to the Republic either. He could be, we talk about these Republic emissaries. Maybe he's a high-level official in the Republic. We know if he's the leader. We know the leader of the Republic. I think at this point it's still Mon Mothma.
Yeah, it is.
But there's obviously other people. There's like probably a Secretary of Treasury for the Republic or something.
Like what they haven't said here, and this is where we gotta give Dom credit. He was wrong for the facts that he was saying that they were piping out the planet for resources and everything else. But he did kind of have something that they did have a special use here, right? So like they are a manufacturing hub, industrial wise. So like he was wrong on a bunch of stuff, but that one he actually kind of got. Once again, didn't get the whole thing right. Kind of got right. Hats off to you, Dom. It was right. But here's what I think we're missing. Is
we were talking about while you were up there. It's also very cult-like, which is also
it's very cult-like.
Yeah.
But here's something else that people are missing out. In every mint, they have to have a minting plate. If they're doing Republic credits, they had to get the minting plate from someplace. And obviously, if they have emissaries that still relate to the Republic, that means that somebody there in the Republic had to give them the printing plates.
Let me ask you a question. All right. We all know that. We all know that Ad-Atten may be a planet from the High Republic. the Old Republic, but it's basically about a couple of 100 years where TAC Rennick crash landed on the planet. So basically, the High Republic era that we're talking about that.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah.
And you know that TAC Rennick probably made a. Well, apparently the woman that killed him, his mistress, concubine. So now, do you think the hooker? Do you actually think that
it's a kid's show, Marco? Come on.
She kind of like got free and went out, and she started building up the planet itself. And as time went on, the last couple of years, each person, there was a different person being the supervisor that took over.
Started it all, or she was the origin of it. Yeah.
There could be, but here's the problem with that is two-part. One, the ship was already made. They were already
doing it. The ship wasn't taken from there. The ship was from another planet that went there, probably coming out after they did something.
Well, we don't know that. No, they said they took it from the mint.
They took it from the mint. So if the mint's already operational, if the mint is already operational.
TAC Renard told us in that message, right, that it is the last Old Republic mint. So the mint's been around before any of these characters were around.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that means she would have had to have taken over the planet, right?
Yeah.
That would be the only way.
But what if the supervisor isn't supervising one planet? What if it's an overall, and like, what if this gets really fucked up? And it turns out that somebody from the Republic is controlling all the planets. Still kind of test subject key. Because how else do you get the mint?
The only thing like that is I don't know that we'll get that deep into it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the one thing I should have said about the supervisor thing that I haven't said yet. I was going to wait till the end, but I don't know. Again, like we talked about Jod's background last week, right? And some of us were like, I don't think they'll get that far into it. Yeah. It doesn't seem like they will. I think it might be a little bit of the same with the supervisor. We may get a reveal, like a simple reveal about kind of what they are or like who he is, like a face reveal.
Well, they could do it just like they did with the ship. Very simple, very easy, very quick.
Yeah, like a couple lines of dialogue or something like that. But,
hey, listen, if it's from the High Republic, if Dak Bernard is from the High Republic era, maybe his prostitute companion could be an alien race that actually can live longer.
The aliens,
but Dom,
yes.
Dom. But here's the thing.
Maybe his concubine was a droid all along.
The hooker didn't start at Adden. At Adden was mining fucking money.
Yes, but I'm just saying the supervisor. Look, the supervisor there is a. She had to be.
We know one thing is that the concubine supposedly was the catalyst or whatever, according to SM-33, was the catalyst for the crew wanting to overthrow Tackernard, right? So she wanted the power, at least of the crew.
Wait,
and if
what
she
if
got
the
power
hooker?
Of the crew, maybe she got the power of the planet.
Wait, hold on. What if the hooker was originally from the Mint, and that's how he got it? Because the hooker, because he calls it concubine, was actually
possible.
He just
like what's her name's Sanastaros' grandmother or whatever, and
yeah. Maybe she came out there, fell in love with him because he's a nasty little pirate, the bad boy. She liked the bad boy type. She's been spending her whole life on this Atten planet. She finds this bad boy freaking pirate dude, and they fall in love and gets a ship, and he just refers to her. I mean, a concubine could be. I mean,
well, the whole fact is that she was on the ship. Because remember when FC-33 was saying that
we get that. Tom, we get that. Could you just let me tell the story of how she's just come on, bud. Go ahead, JJ. Jesus Christ.
Like I said, I just think there's as high a possibility is that it's some super deep lore thing. I think it's just as high, if not higher, possibility that it's just some dude or just some gal that's going to get like a line of dialogue to explain who they are.
I don't know. Let's look it up. Let's see if they have it.
I think it's supposed to be about the same length of the first episode, which is slightly longer, but not.
Yeah, John Watts is director.
Yeah, same director and all that as the first episode. It's also the showrunner. Marco, did you get in this scene where it comes up out of the ground? Did you get X-Men Blackbird vibes?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I will say this: so when they meet the security droid, or they call him a safety droid, I guess. Well, anyways, when they meet the safety droid escort, it's interesting that the theory that the emissaries come from there. This was the part I was kind of talking about where I maybe think a little bit differently, because he doesn't recognize Jod as one of the emissaries, right? So the emissaries are probably coming from the outside in, but he also immediately recognizes the 4 kids as the 4 missing kids.
Well,
two parts. Why? There's something.
KB's mom has a bracelet that actually connects to KB, so kind of knew that the ship was coming in.
Yeah,
that was one thing. So,
well, also too, they're quite aware. The security droids are quite aware because these have been missing kids, so that's been put into their data system. But here's how I can explain that they don't understand that he's an emissary, and the emissaries can still all come from At-Taten. They get positioned into different jobs. The droids don't refer to anybody by their job title, right? So they don't actually like itemize every person. So yes, he could be there and like, who are you? I'm an emissary. Who are you?
They refer to Fern's mom as their job title in this. It's under secretary or whatever when they're
chasing. Yeah, because she's high enough. Like she's yeah. I'm just saying, like,
all things are possible at this point. It's hard to say for sure, but to me, it just feels like there's also a point later where he's basically telling Jod, like, listen, you still got to talk to the supervisor about this stuff. As an emissary, you have no authority, type of thing. So,
yeah, right.
But
yeah, because emissaries would still be peons. It would be a low level. I mean, not like just not as high of a job level as we think.
Yeah, they'd be like servants or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, in a way. But yeah. Anyways, they make clear to him that basically he has no authority. Jod keeps saying, I gotta contact my ship on the outside or whatever. They're like, listen, no. Like, screw you. Nobody contacts the outside world. We don't do that here. But yeah, so but we get lower down to the vault with the kids and everything. The vault is gigantic.
11,000.
Yep, right here. We get the number as they come in. Which the gold, maybe it's just me, but it could just be they're making credits for areas. Because this gold seems much larger. Maybe it's raw ore or something. I don't know. But all that seems much larger than the little tiny credits they produce.
Yeah, like these credits right here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So this all seems like, I mean, that seems like large gold, almost like bullion or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
But we get the number that there are 1,139 vaults, which is exactly one higher number than the number of vaults in TXX 1,138 vaults. So,
Lucas's
which
first
is also
film.
George Lucas' first film. So,
Sure.
Fun fact. Of course, Jod sees the credits, goes nuts. Like, oh my god! And we get this scene here. If you didn't have an emotional reaction, at least a little bit to this, you probably have no soul.
Yep.
I'm sorry about you. We got all the kids reunited with their parents, except for Neil's dad.
Where's Neil's dad?
I don't know. He's not there.
Oh, he comes in.
Yeah, but we got, you know, the most emotional to me was Wim's. And I think that was handled really well because at first, you know, Wim, I didn't cover it early on, but at the beginning of the episode, Wim was all afraid that he would, you know, go back to everything being the same, and he would get so much trouble.
definitely hated the scene.
Yeah, he hated the scene because he hates his life. He hates his life.
But when Wim's dad kind of picked him up, I was like, oh, that's super nice because that was the one where you're like, they showed you at least in depth that they had such a strange relationship kind of in the early episodes. So yeah, so really touching scene there. Of course, it all gets interrupted by Jod. Who was this coincidence that the lightsaber got ignited like that? It looks very
and it's a blue lightsaber too. But you know, look, this is one of three things that could possibly happen. That the supervisor, because he called for the supervisor to come, and the supervisor comes at that particular time. He has a flashback, a flashback of when he was a kid, and he stops it and he comes to realization. Or 3, the New Republic comes in. The New Republic comes in, and
what you're saying words. What are you saying?
I'm saying the fact that there's 1 or 2 things, like 3 things.
Stop saying the facts. Slow down.
Just saying one.
Let's go through my questions.
That supervisor can come down.
I think you got a lot layered in there into what these questions are. So
yeah, the supervisor can come down and with the supervisor thing can stop it before he even does anything. That's 1.
What are you talking about?
What?
What are you talking about?
When he asked for the supervisor to speak to the supervisor
like 8 times. Yeah, keep saying the fucking word supervisor.
I'm just saying that his lightsaber, he's not going to kill anybody. He's not going to go full Anakin on them. We all know that.
Shit. Oh, really, Dom?
He threatened to. No, because
that's the first question.
That's what he threatened was line. Wait, Dom. Wait. Let's go through this line by line. Do you guys, and you guys can argue this out if you want, you think Jod has broken bad for good? Is this the real Jod? Is he really going to... Is he going to slice and dice their parents? Like
no, he's not going to slice it. He's going to cut. Look, he is not going to be bad all the way. And you know what? I think it would be cool if he is bad all the way. And then at the end, he winds up. But it's not going to happen. This is fucking Disney. I'm tired. He's going to come to. He's going to come to the realization at the last minute. That's the one thing he's going to have a freaking flashback in his head about when he was a child and how things went out, and he's going to fucking come to his senses. That's 1. 2. The supervisor is going to come down. Or 3, the New Republic comes in and have it. Or hey, you want to throw a 4th one in there? Wem's father has a lightsaber. He's been a Jedi all along. Someone's a Jedi all along. So
what are you? No.
Oh, wow.
All right. Can I ask you a question? No. So this is the part that, and I'm not trying to rewrite this because I do think it's a good show, but this little bit here, ever since even hearing it, doesn't fit the characteristics I felt of Jod. And what I think Jod should have done in this part is say, okay, everybody back on the ship with the lightsaber to threaten them, right? And then he goes and then he goes and gets them, he gets the droids to load the ship full of gold credits. Because that's within his reach, because he's an emissary. They ask him to see it, they must be shipping him on and off. Ships it full of it. He then proceeds to take the ship back up because now he's got the codes because he doesn't need the ship to come through, right? Then he can show his crew all the gold and then use the transmitter in the ship that he has transpose that to his frigate, and then bring the frigate back down. That would make sense. Killing them is never going to make sense because they're just not going to do it because of the TV show. The supervisor, I guess if you want to reveal who the supervisor is, you can take Jod up there. But if you get the Jod with the gold off the planet to come back on, and because he doesn't think there's really any defense systems, because he can get through them, then that also gives you the opportunity for the kids to activate the big gun, which I think we're all going to activate the big gun, right? We're activating the big gun at one point, correct?
It seems to be, yeah.
Yeah. So that,
that's
kind of how it plays out.
Snip it in like a trailer. And that doesn't always happen, but yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's it. So like, is Jod broken bad for good? Was he ever good?
He was never good. He
was pretending to be be right?
Yeah.
No, he's always fulfilling his like self, like
that's the thing. Like, so to me, Jod's character is very much I have this scheme or I have this plan, and when it doesn't, we saw it in episode 5 too, where the pirate showed up, right, and it ruined his plan to kind of find the vault or whatever. So I think when the plan goes awry, at least when he acts evil, maybe to get his way or to. He doesn't want to give up the result of his plan. And I think that's what this scene is too. I think he still thinks he has a way out using the plan that he has, which is to to take the vault and to put the treasure back and to get the rest of his crew back down there and all that.
So
take over the plan.
He'll probably threaten the family, open up the passageway, let my crew come in, and that's when the New Republic comes in because they also got the beacon. They got the beacon too as well.
The question is, we've seen in the past where he's kind of been the savior for the kids.
Yeah.
The question is he going to be I guess the question I'm posing is he going to be the savior for the kids, or is he still going to be Pirate Jod?
Well, he turned around.
He doesn't have to kill everybody for that to happen. I'm saying,
he's probably
going to threaten be a bad guy.
I'm going to kill you guys, open up the passageway for my crew to come in. This is where the epic,
how do you nullify that? Like, you got to get here somehow. He's the main character.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's going to be interesting the way they put it that way. But, do we see SM-33 again, and do you care? Is he dead? Is he coming back?
I think he's dead. I think KB fixes him.
Think so? To me, this might be our end credit scene. I think about whether or not we'll get like an end credit scene or something, and maybe SM-33 getting reactivated or something.
Yeah.
I think you can somehow maybe take his mind chip out and put into something else. I don't think we're going to see it back as the way it is. Maybe actually he is the mind that they use to run the defense system later on. I don't think he's dead though. I mean, I think we're going to catch him back
because he still has a lot of the secrets on how attack or nod and stuff like that. So he knows a lot of the stuff.
Marco makes a good point there. Is he the key? Like they say, the ship can pass through the thing, but we've never seen the ship pass through the thing without SM-33 on board.
That's true too.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah. Does Jod actually reach his pirate crew? Is the pirate crew just going to be outside and we're going to get cool? Like, hey, Jod, what's going on down there?
Now, women's going to freaking go to the school, shoot out the ship, the pirate ships come, and that's when the New Republic come in and help. And that's how all that stuff's going to be. So they're coming in.
We got one small interesting scene of Vane, pushing Urkel aside and kind of taking over. I kind of wonder. My theory is if the whole pirate crew kind of gets wiped out in one way or another, I think Vane's going to kind of be a survivor of that.
What happens?
Join the other weird pirate crew.
Yep.
But what is the possibility of them? Like, what if it is the robot? And what if the thing is Dom isn't 100% wrong, except for that it's not that the Republic comes down onto the planet at Aten. They stay on the outside because they've been tracking these pirate ships for a while now, ever since that planet they were on. And then all of a sudden they catch up to the thing, and Urkel gets blown up because they're just blowing him out of the sky. And then Jod is by himself, and then just says F it, and the kids do turn the gun on him and blow him up, and the end to Jod. That would be cool, Andy.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right.
I guess that's question 4. Who's going to save the day? Is it going to be the Republic or the supervisor or other?
It's going to be the kids. The movie's about the fucking kids.
Let me ask you something too.
Yeah, it's going to be the kids.
That's the catalyst to get the kids away from Jod, right? Like somebody's got to.
The kids are going to do it themselves. No. The kids are going to save the parents. then they're gonna get the gun, then they're gonna blow the head off.
You think one of the parents dies?
I don't think anybody.
Sacrifice or something? Probably not.
Jod's dad.
Wim's dad.
I mean, I guess we get a Bambi moment.
How about Wim's dad?
Bambi's mom dies?
No, I think they think people like Jod, so when he dies, they think that's gonna be a difference.
Wim's dad gets killed. The New Republic come in. Freaking TiVo comes in with Mando because he's part of the freaking goddamn thing. They come in and they save the day. They take Wim to Luke Skywalker. He trains Wim, and Wim becomes a fucking Jedi. There you go.
I mean,
no, how funny would it be if Neil's dad comes up behind fucking Jod right now and picks him up by his head?
In reference to this, I didn't put this as a question, but in reference to what Ruben says here, is the great work is the mint, right?
It is.
I mean,
no, it's the whole thing. It's the great work.
The whole operation. But
the High Republic worked the great work, right?
No, I think the great work is what they're doing on the planet. I don't think it's anything else.
I think it's like everything. Yeah, I think it's keeping the planet running and isolated.
Quick question, really quick. The beacon that they sent up to go to the kids to try to get them to come back. You know that went out throughout the whole friggin' area. So the pirates got it. You don't think that the Republic got it? You think that the Empire got it? Thrawn? Because that could be. I'm just saying.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Time out.
How do we get to that?
Time out. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Wasn't the reception on the Onyx Cinder? Wasn't that? So, God forbid, but they have it coded to that ship to accept the transmission, just like they have that ship has a code that allows.
But I don't think they know anything about the ship that
they know one thing. They know one thing. It flew out, so they know it's on the same coding system that it is.
Could be, but it. Remember, the robot said that you send anything out, it can get word. So I think that.
Yeah. Hold on though. You're not going to give a meeting. You're not going to say in the fucking warning thing, if everybody could get it, don't tell anybody you're from Addon, because then everybody knows there's a planet called Addon. Like,
well, I don't remember if he said. I can't remember if he said Addon in the message or if he said where you're from. I think or where you come from or something.
I think
it's something to that effect. He might have said Addon. Yeah. And they also tell them they can't give them coordinates in the message to where they are. So, but I just like how we got to Thrawn. I don't know how we got to Thrawn.
That's Thrawn to the beacon. And listen, the Empire, and that's how the fucking ethical and shit like that. You see,
it could be. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's true either with Exegol because there's other stuff that they had going on, but
it all connects.
No. You're just saying stuff and then saying it all connects. Dom, where's the mom training the kid? Yeah, where's the Jedi Order that you said was here?
What you're saying we're going to find out at the end of this that everybody's bad.
And listen, for every wrongs, I get a right too, man. So I'm going to get the big right when it comes out.
You're going to be like, first off, you never get the big right. You never get the big right.
I do. The big right with the goddamn Mortis gods in Ahsoka, that's going to be at the big right there because it's going that way. And this is going to happen.
We don't know what you, Dom, to be clear, nobody, it's what, like you just said 2 minutes ago when you said supervisor. You say a word, but because whatever's going on in your head, you don't actually tell us because all you say is, trust me.
I said that with the lightsaber, the supervisor coming down, that's one of the options.
People's dad.
Yeah. Maybe
or somebody has a lightsaber. That's the
but the supervisor coming down, what the fuck does that mean? Some dude just comes down and goes, I'm
that's
a supervisor?
Going to stop Jod from freaking killing people.
How? How's it going to stop?
How? That's what I'm saying.
Because
there's no how.
Supervisor.
What?
Whatever, man.
Because why?
Continue, man. You guys will never get the logic.
The point of the Wizard of Oz was that the guy behind the curtain was not really a wizard, right? The supervisor could be just some dude.
Did he pull a Karen?
Yeah.
What? What did Giggles just say?
He goes, did he just pull a Karen?
Who? What?
Because it's like if you called for a supervisor.
The supervisor.
Like
oh, yeah. He did. Yeah, called. Yeah, Giggles. Give her the bell.
You got the bell.
Jod is the Karen.
She's got the best.
Jod's a Karen. There you go.
Go ahead.
Ring the bell. I don't know what's going to happen.
You got the bell.
Good job, Giggles. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen either. I just, yeah, I don't think the supervisor is going to come down there to be the
I
supervisor.
don't think supervisor can have it because you still have that one scene where Wim,
I don't think they're letting the
Wim,
Republican.
his dad, Fern, and her mom are standing there looking up at the this computer thing. So that's one scene they haven't shown yet. So we'll see.
All right.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, maybe they won't let the emissary in. I don't know. All right. Well, yeah, is that it?
That's it.
All right, let's get into
Great job,
comics.
bud.
This week.
AJ, good job.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, and I believe me, there'll be wildness going on from Dom with this subject. So we were going to cover like 6 comics, but I think we're going to try to cover 3 to 5 every week. But before we do that, let's get into this week. Last Stand, it was pretty good. There's Pregnant Leia in it. They do a little bit of side retcon, would you call it, Jedi or JJ to
Wayseekers seem to think it was a huge deal in our chat. I kind of think, there's a little bit of retconning here. There definitely is a little bit of retconning. I don't know that it like wrote over anything crazy important, but yeah
his mom's the I don't think it was crazy important too. It's still a good story. I thought it was really good. I think Wayseeker just really hates anything that's good. So everybody thinks the mom's coming in the end, by the way. I was missing all these comments. Back at Tank Dream.
Who's mom?
Jod's mom. Yeah.
Well, Wim's mom. Well, Jod's mom. Whatever, somebody's mom. Because didn't Jod's mom die? I mean, Wim's mom died. Supposedly, right?
Well, we think that's true. It could.
Yeah,
you
never know.
Wim's mom died. All we know
she
is
could be
right now.
Hold on. Wasn't the pirate he was dating a hooker, right? And she might have survived. So maybe Win's dad banged a hooker and had Win, and then that's why Win's mom's not around because she's
Win's mom is the concubine.
No, Win's mom is the hooker.
She's the hooker to the planet. Yeah. All right, coming next week. What was this? 3? No, this is 2. So it's 3 is coming next week. Get more into the story. Will be good. Well, I know part's kind of corny, but whatever. FOC. We don't have any Marvel on FOC, so that's gonna be interesting. However, we do get High Republic. Phase 3, number, what is it, 15, hopefully, from Dark Horse.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. I know Jose, what's his name's going to be pissed, Wayseeker, because you didn't mention that Jose Older says he's going to take a break from doing Star Wars High Republic, which I think the series ended anyways, so whatever.
Yeah. I think they all need to take a break from Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yes. Get a brand new writer's room. People who know what they're doing. End of story. That's it.
All right. Now, finally, getting to the last segment, because now we're 2 hours in and we were trying to make the show about 2 hours. We will start off with Star Wars Comics Explained. First appearances. I got to get that background faded a little bit. Once again, the whole premise of this is just to cover old books. We were trying to do it on series. We've been throwing around a bunch of ideas for a very long time. I don't know if this is the way to do it, but it's what the fuck we have. So hopefully you guys enjoy. And if you don't, JJ, you can't leave during this segment because Dom didn't read these books. All right, here we go. We're going to start off with Star Wars number 2, a famous COVID book. This book started to see the light of prices gaining up because people finally realized that there's a lot of first appearances in here that are not in, that people assumed were in book 1. There is one interesting first appearance, sort of, that we'll talk about, and we will do that in these segments too, where we kind of question what is and what isn't a first appearance without getting too far in it. So here you go. A lot of first appearances. Chewbacca, Han Solo, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Greedo, Panda Baba. By the way, a lot of people don't list it, but Cornelius is in this book too. There's a couple other people in it too. The band never made it, but probably Dom's favorite, Tizivit.
My favorite, the fucking fly dude.
Yeah. So that guy's in the book. He's actually in the wrong place, so he's like standing out by a pod racer. Who cares? And the Millennium Falcon shows up in this book. For those people that don't know, these books, Marvel 1 and 2, pretty much retell A New Hope. They stop they stop at a scene you get before the beginning of 2 starts as the Tusken Raiders have knocked down Luke, and Obi has to come out of the mountains to save him. So that's where this book starts. And it stops right towards this scene right here. And this is the question. Some people call this book the first appearance of Jabba the Hutt. Other people call this the first concept of Jabba the Hutt. The other people say Jabba. Just put Jabba in it. This is what they're talking about. There's a scene, and we have now seen it. The scene wasn't in the original, but was in the remastered version
Yes.
where thank you for saying yes really loud in my ears. Where Han Solo goes to the Millennium Falcon and he runs into Jabba. And the Jabba in the original screenplay was a dude and looked like a pirate, right?
Look like Friar Tuck.
Yeah, it looked like Friar Tuck pirate. In the comic, however, they had no concept of what Jabba the Hutt looked like. So they just gave it to this alien character. As you can see, he says, "I've been waiting for you, Jabba." It's the whole lines exactly from the movie that you see in the remastered version, but not in the original. However, I think this would be hard pressed to call this character actually Jabba the Hutt, because by the time they came out with Return of the Jedi, we saw what Jabba the Hutt was, and we know what Jabba the Hutt was. And actually, in the Visionaries, this is also why fucking Lucas is bad about stuff, because I don't think he created half the shit he says he did. Anyhow, but there you go. So you call it whatever you want. We don't care. There's so many first appearances on this one. It's worth it anyways. Also, too, let's talk about a couple things some people might not know from some of you new collectors. There's a 35-cent copy of this, which is still first print over there. You see it. But a lot of times people don't realize what the reprint is. Very easy way to tell what the reprint is, because guess what it says on it? Down.
Reprint.
Yeah, reprint right there. See where the red line is? They'll have them on all the reprints. We'll also get into a couple things too. Newsstand, more popular than direct. Not too many directs. You'll see the direct with the little logo thing there too. But also there was packs, right? Quality packs, like reprint packs that they'll send out. Sometimes people say that it's hard to identify them. One of the easiest ways to identify it, do you see where the arrow is? Let's go back real quickly. See how the arrow up there, when it's not a reprint, has the price on it. Even some of the reprints do. And when we're on the first books, oh, whoa, I just flipped back too fast. But you'll see there's a 35-cent there. It says August something, has the date on it. Some of the reprints won't. Yeah, but the pack stuff here, they won't. In the packs, they don't have any date, timing, or whatever in it. So that's how you know you got to pack one, including in the ones that have the toys in it. The toy pack. Shit, I didn't add that to Costa Nos, but I'll do that next time. We're going to start adding some toys into this stuff too later on. We're going to really get it down for you guys. We just had to do this one fast. All right, since this is an older book, I didn't want to go on raw prices because they are all over the place depending on what the grade is, and everybody's opinion on grade are like assholes. They all got one. But here's some sold list prices. You kind of starting to see a steady drop off, but the reason why I'm showing you the results of this is something also that we don't talk about much. Sometimes it does matter the quality of the label, right? So do you guys notice something different between the sale for $11.40 on the third sale, December 24th, 2024? Besides, it was an auction.
11/18?
And the auction that was 6 days later. Do you know anything? Do you see anything different between those two?
The two auctions?
Yeah, just the second auction and the third auction. Yeah, the two auctions.
Label and white pages versus off-white.
Yeah, so there it is. There could be a difference because the only two that did sell for under $1,000 in this book are off-white pages, which, by the way, I don't think it matters inside of a book. That's not for me. By the way, the second book, too, I looked it up. It did sell for, well, it sold for under 8. It sold for under 1,000, over 600. So I think it was like 8 something. But you kind of, when you get to this old, you do have to see that white pages will demand a bit of a premium. I do think your average value on this book, although people will argue keeps falling off, I think looking at this right here, if you have white pages, it's a $1,000 book. If you don't, if you have off white pages, it's a $600 to $800 book. I mean, that's just the facts of life on this book. All right. Hasn't taken that huge of a tumble. Has taken a tumble since COVID highs, though. I mean, we all know that. So I'm not going to act like it's not true. But I wanted to switch that one over there real quickly. I cannot see the chat while I'm doing this, by the way. It's not just old CGC label sticks. It's also about like the off whites. Okay. The Fat Thrawn? Is that Fat Thrawn? Oh,
no.
That did look kind of
Who's the guys behind Jabba?
Alien creature, yeah.
I actually was going to pull out. So this is, I love this book, Boba Fett Twins, Engines of Destruction. One of the reasons why we're showing this book too is because this had a character that was rumored at one point to be very close to another character that was written into a book that ended up on a TV show played by Timothy.
Cobb Vanth.
Yeah, Cobb, right. But Timothy Open, Cobb Vanth. In this book, there was also Boba Fett knockoff. Now, he was pretending to be Boba Fett. People really did like this character. I did not put this the fucking toy in there or show you. Whoever did the art of this book did Dangar wrong, Dangar wrong.
Yeah.
They did him so wrong. They gave him like this like metal body fat suit that they put him in. Great book though. Here we go. Here's the first appearance. It's Joe DeCast. People like this character, man. People like this too. They pose this all the time.
I have his figure someplace. I don't know where it is.
Yeah, I have one up there. It's expensive in the 2-pack, which comes with the book that's a knockoff. But there's also 2 other characters that you never know when they're going to go back and use characters. So Naba Na was this dude that he's a fake Sith. He would go around and preach stuff saying that he had Sith powers and all this other bullshit. He didn't. Eventually, Boba went out there and took care of him. But the other guy, because Dom likes aliens so much, I decided to put Nostrik in there. Isn't he a great alien, Dom?
Looks like an X-Men character, but yeah.
Yeah, he was like just some bad character that they fucking killed with poison. But whatever. Stupid character, but it's also his first appearance. This book, however, this is wild. 9/8 and not one. I mean, like, I think the highs in 9/8 was about $65. But most of them sell around the $30 mark for a 9/8 of this book. Holy shit. Which average raw is selling for $11. Just wait and buy a 9/8. Just wait and buy a 9/8, dude. Because for $30,
I'm going to pick this up in the other one too, the more expensive one, but I don't know.
So he keeps saying that because he wants us to talk to a DF that was signed, which that doesn't. Yeah,
it's just a signed copy.
It's a side comic. Yes,
it's limited to 500 copies, but it was autographed.
No, it was 500 signed copies of this comic.
Yeah, it's 500, which means that somebody could have signed it later too. It was just what DF was selling. All right. Next up, so you can probably get cheaper actually. Next up, getting out of that book, we have Ewoks, and more Ewoks. I'm glad I'm doing this because I know that Wayseeker hates Ewoks too, even though for some reason he hates a blue bear. Enjoy your suspension, Wayseeker. We will hopefully see you next week if you actually have anything productive to tell us. 3 different books on this too. You've got the left side, which is the direct, and then you've got the newsstand, and then you've got the True Believer #1.
The colors, the colors are different. Like if you look at the direct, and then you look at the newsstand.
I wouldn't.
The color shades.
I wouldn't do.
Well, different prints.
Sometimes,
when you got a lot of colors like that, different printings, you get a little different.
Sometimes the light's different in shading. Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, we haven't talked about True Believers too, but it's easy to tell what the True Believers are because most of them say Legends on the True Believers. This is a mix 50-50 direct to newsstand thing. And if you're looking for it, don't look for it under Star Wars Ewoks. A lot of times this is put under Ewoks, because it's technically the title is not Star Wars Ewoks. It is just Ewoks. This is kind of about the cartoon. We get the chief in there, Chirpa. He looks a lot different in the comic book than he does there. He's older, got a beard. We get T-Bows first. We get Eba, who is just this old dude who falls asleep and then does weird stuff. We do get, though, Princess Jar, whose real name is Kanasha Jar Kanikika. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Hey, you're pretty good with that.
Thank you very much. That's the one that Wicket wants to bang all the time. But she's a warrior. She's really cool. She shows up.
You make yourself so childish, man.
He does. He really wants to bang her. However, this is what's cool about Ewok in the Ewok book too. And I wonder if they're going to do more Ewok stuff. I know there's rumors of it and stuff like that. But they did do a lot of funny things, like not just the rock people, the Zardar rockers that are like these rocks that come out to do stuff, but they had these troll race, and the trolls would like eat everything, and they even say in the books, but then they start eating Ewok people after that. They're like these dopey ass things. They have a bridge that kind of separates them. Whatever. Anyways, that's all your first appearances in this book.
Andor rockers. Rumor has it Andor rockers were the first appearance of Geo too.
Yeah, right. Yeah. All right. Anyways, this book interesting too. Raws of this are selling on average for $20. That's pretty dope, dude. Auction, fixed price. That fixed price one's always kind of funny when you get a $440 fixed price, but it does look like the majority of these books are selling between the $200. It's around $200 at this point for this book in the 9/8, which is actually still pretty good. Like it's a hard book in the 9/8, but still a cool book in the 9/8. Just because like this wasn't a book like who's collecting fucking Ewoks. Kids. Yeah, you know what I mean? It is a very childish book. It's a fun book, though. I reread this book.
That doesn't matter anymore to comic collectors, though. But yeah.
I know what I'm saying.
my friend Bird Wars, if you go on Instagram, Bird Wars, he just sent me a picture of his whole collection of Star Wars, some of his books. He has the whole Ewoks line he picked up. And the most expensive one is the anniversary issue, the 9/8 with the Marvel anniversary around it. Is one of the.
I wasn't listening to you. I was asking John a question. What'd you say? Say it again. No, I'm sorry.
No. A friend of mine.
Yeah.
If you go on Instagram, Bird at Bird Wars, he just sent me pictures of some of his collection, and he just picked up the anniversary issue, issue 4 with the Marvel characters all around it, like the anniversary, 25th anniversary.
Wasn't it 10?
The 10 or 4? I don't
know. Yeah, the one that all the Marvel ones. Yeah, that's a nice one.
Yeah, he was just showing me that he got like all the Ewok books. Like everybody likes the Ewok books. I'm telling you, Ewok books.
I know Ewok books are sweet. I like them. It's the Double Star 2, which is kind of cool. Hey, if you're talking about 2, I will tell you this: the price really drops off on the 9.6. Like if it's $1,000 and 6 to 800, it's like $180, I think $200 for a 9.6. So, yeah, 10th is it. Look at that. Stick Boy is calling it out. Thank you, Stick Boy.
I
know what I'm talking about.
I am sorry.
All right. Finally, because Dom's here, we tried to give him a little bit of stuff because he always.
I appreciate that.
However, I also want to tell people sometimes what's inside of the book. JJ, this is 0.5. Do we know what's inside this book?
As far as first appearances, or
no, I like what this book was. So there's a 0 that came out too after one. Sorry, JJ. I know there's a
Wizard. I mean, there wasn't the Wizard one.
No, this wasn't the Wizard one. No. So here we go. They had a bunch of art. It was kind of like, I don't know what they're called, JJ. You'll know it either, but it gives like just generalization of characters. It's like the character, like Marvel had them before too. It was like Marvel Universe books and stuff like that. This was Star Wars version of it. Now here's a misconception and mislabeling. They say Nat Skywalker or Bantha Rock's first appearance is in this book. This book is just a organization of 0, right? So they just kind of redid it. We'll show you, for example. So here's 0. 0 is 2006, June 7th. January 2nd, 2008 for 0.5. I'll show you some inside pages. Inside page, here we go. So this is what kind of the insides of these both books look like. You
Marvel
get like
Ages. Wasn't that Marvel?
Oh, Marvel's Ages. Thank you very much.
Yeah, wasn't that the one? Yeah.
So you get most. So now you get the picture up here. However, it does call this picture just a pirate. It doesn't specifically name who this guy is in 2006. I will tell you, though, they definitely name him in Legends 2023, which I think came out before 28, but whatever. It doesn't matter. Next up, it did come out before then. This is the 1.5. They use the same picture, but they call him in parentheses Batha in rank. They don't really say what his real name is in this, but it's the exact same picture they had it, but they just changed around the page. Like Queen Jaw was on a different page or whatever. Either way, that's what people call it. I would argue that. I would argue 100% that this is probably his first image. I get it, but his first appearance is in 22. And they actually, 24, I think, is when they actually call him Skywalker. And they explain who he is. And you get to see him on the cover of that one.
You got to cover you when he's sitting on the thing when they show you.
All right, but here we go. Just in case you're interested. This book, though, and I don't think it has anything to do with the appearances inside, and I know nobody's reading those fuckers, even though I think they're fucking awesome to read. So if you find low grade...
It's an awesome story. Awesome read, definitely.
Well, it's not a story, because all it is
an awesome comic series. It was an awesome comic series.
Yes, but 0 and 0.5 are just overviews of characters. Like, it's mainly about Darth Crate. Average Raw is still selling for 20. Dom, the only reason people buy this book is the same reason you do. You don't read the stories. You just look at this lady's red boobies and you call it.
And listen, I read the story. I love this. I love this book. I wish they would adapt some shit from this and make stories from this, because this was a fucking badass story. Yes, I do like her on the cover. Thank you very much.
9/8 are selling for $45.73. The 103, 160 was a while ago. I will tell you this about it. Majority of the listings, and this is how you know that people aren't reading the inside, say nothing about what the book's about. All they say is awesome, sexy talent cover, awesome talent cover, rare talent cover, good-looking talent cover. That's how they list all of it. So you can sit here and fucking bull-faced lie like you've ever opened this book before, Dom. Let's just be honest.
I did
like
read
red
this.
titties.
Listen, I know that it's all hashtag. It's like all history of a certain character. I know because number one starts the series. I know that, but these books were put out there as source books to get the people, the characters. It's a great
on the cover too. But
yes, the cover is great. Of course, you got to look at the cover.
But see, so here's part of the problem too. This is 2000.
I always thought these were not good art. So I always thought this was not good art for covers for this. And it looks like bad video game art.
Well, I think people naturally
era video game art.
Yeah, I think people naturally think that this is a half, that it might be like earlier, even though it's really
darker. Yeah, they did that a lot with the wizard issues and shit and the half issues.
Well, even Zero's after 1, right? So
yeah, for Dark Horse, it was.
Yeah. And it's just a summary. All right, well, that's all I got for it. Hopefully, you guys like what we did. We're gonna try to maybe add toys onto that. I think I should have added the 2-pack with Cost, but I ran out of time today.
Yeah, that damn friggin' 2-pack with her and Kate Skywalker goes for a lot of money.
9.6 is high grade. It is a high grade but that's why it's tough to buy those raws. 9.6 is a high grade for number 2. However, it does not sell. Like the price is really
the value. I mean,
there's like 50. Well, here's
number one. Number one's the same way. Number 1 has a $2,000 drop off.
Yeah. Well, it's because the print run on those are really high. Like for 9. I mean, so just the 9.8s. I think if I'm correct, I think it's like 35 or something like that. 9.8s, 3,500 or graded copies of that book. And then I think another 1,500 in the direct. So like you're talking like almost 5,000. Like holy shit, man.
Yeah, there's a lot.
That's a lot of high grade books. So there are sketches in it, but it's not just a sketchbook. I should have opened it back up. I could share more pictures. I don't know. Listen,
Dom said source book. That's probably the best way to describe it.
Source book is probably that's probably what it is. Hey, listen, guys, I'm more than open to take any criticism. We've been planning on a while on how to review some of these old books without. I think some of our earlier content seemed like we were always shitting on stuff, right? And I don't want it to be that. I want it to be like more clarity to what it is, so that if you're interested, like I like source books, you might too. So picking up 0.5 and 0 in any condition, kind of cool. But you also have to know they're kind of the same book. So if you get one, you don't need the other one, right? But yeah, like if you're like, oh, cool, I can deal. Like if John's like, I can deal with a 9.6. Well, hey, you're gonna pay like less than half the price. You're gonna pay a couple $100. Like if that's cool with you, then that's cool with you. You know what I mean? Do that. And like because there's high volumes. And if you guys want me to start showing volume numbers on the 9.8 when I do that one, John, I'll be more than happy to do that. And then, or I could do the drop off. I could do that. I mean, it's just gonna take more time.
There's a market for 9.6s too. It's a different market value.
There is, but then after that, the price. I mean, after you get a 9.6 on number 2,
if you look at fucking number 2 is worse than number 1. But if you look at number 1, for instance, like there's like a huge steep like $2,000 drop there. But still, there's a market for it there, right? Because the people who get in on the 9.8 and don't want to pay $2,000.
Well, it's more than $2,000. It's more than $2,000.
Yeah, but I mean, the people that don't want to pay that high will also look at 9.6s, which have value too. So, but it's just a different market for those early run Star Wars books.
Give me 30 seconds here. I'll pull up the stats real quickly on
and
that.
If you look at, there's also the 35-cent. Like, there's a big difference in market between the 35-cent variant and the regular one. So, I mean,
yeah. I mean, the 35-cent variant has a lot less graded too, and I'm not sure there's a 9.8 in the 35-cent variant, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So like that's it's one where
more rare, but
yeah. I mean, that's just going to be tough for you to get.
Whatever you do, don't worry about newsstand direct for
those ones. Yeah,
for Prince of Star Wars. For the love of God, if somebody lists Star Wars number 2 as newsstand, I'm gonna rip their arms off like Chewbacca.
Oh yeah, the stupid newsstand. You should pay them less if they list that as newsstand.
Yeah, just they're all newsstand. There was no direct in 1977 or 8 or whatever it was.
Well, I think they're trying to say that's well,
they're trying to say that it's
Whitman.
It's a newsstand, so people will think it's more valuable that way. But they're all newsstands.
Just be careful out there when you're looking online to find out what you don't get ripped off, because there's a lot of sharks out there that are trying to rip people off.
Yes, they really are. So here we are looking at CGC 9.8. Holy shit. there's over 4,713 of the regular copy, not the 35-cent variant of number 2 that are graded. That's not 9.8, not mind you. There's 205
total
in the
graded copies.
Yeah, totally graded copies. So then let's see what the 9.6 looks like really quickly. And that's only just CGC. I could probably pull up CBCS here in a minute too, or at least whatever that'll do it. And that's not always the same either. There's 635 and 9.6. The average for that, like I said, is $280. 260, $280. And then after that, 9.4, 130. Right.
2 lags behind 1, right? And for reasons that it probably should, like you have the fact of like forever people put first appearance of like Chewbacca and Han and Obi-Wan down as
on
number 1.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that.
Number 2 kind of become the Hulk 180 to the Hulk 181 for Star Wars. In a way, where it's
but I mean, now it's not
up to that.
Look, if you're looking at it between $600 and $1,000, like you got to remember that book was up past $4,000 to $5,000 at one time for a 9.8 for number 2.
It was up there.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, back in the comic boom.
Yeah. Let's look at some numbers on 1. So 1 has shit, dude. Take a wild guess. How many comic 1? Now we said what comic 2 has.
Total graded or
total 9.8s. No, total 9.8s.
Total 9.8s.
There was 205 9.8s for number 2. Okay.
Okay. All right. So how many for 1? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah.
Just for the regular 1,300. 1,300.
No, less than
400.
that. No, way more than that.
750.
964.
Oh, wow.
2,368 fucking 9.6s. There's over 18,000 fucking all universal grades on this. All grades.
Wow.
Yeah.
All signature, everything else. Resto. Who the fuck bought Resto on? Who restoed this shit, bro?
Probably.
And that's, I mean, yeah.
Probably amateur.
They don't have census numbers on CB, and that's not including census numbers on CBCS. So, like, oh, holy shit, bro. That's a fucking shit ton.
Well, like I said, nobody cared about number 2 for a long time.
Yeah, you're right. Everybody thought they were all in the book, all in the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, the first appearance of Jax is one of the best books to have. Marco knows that.
Yeah. We'll get into that. We'll get to that one time. Well, Han is technically on the cover of one, and so is Obi-Wan. But
he is. They're on the cover. People get you're right. People get mixed up because they're on the cover of number 1.
Mm-hmm.
That the number 2 they don't believe is the other first appearance.
Yeah.
Cover appearance is one thing. Second, but you're right. People get mixed up with that.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, people say it all the time. Oh, I like that, dude. Yeah. See, that's the one where I don't mind settling for 9.6s on this book because 9.8s become tougher and tougher to get. Yeah, I mean, we're obviously going to cover that one day too.
I have a raw one sitting in my books of that.
I do too. I think it's past the time to try to get those raws graded, though. I feel unfortunately that book is like or reject.
Depending on how much you have into it, but yeah.
If
you're not very much into it, then it doesn't really matter. But
yeah.
I guess listen, you gotta understand if the Yuzan Vong ever make an appearance, if they were in uncut, like there was an episode of the Clone Wars that they didn't put out, that there was a scout ship of the Yuzan Vong that they made a canon, but they said that those are canon to the overall thing, which makes no sense. If that's canon, so that means Yuzan Vong is canon.
Somebody got a hell of a good deal on an auction on the 8th. I wasn't listening to him. I was looking at that. Somebody bought the book for $100. Yeah. Dude, I've been saying that all night.
So the animatronic videos that they have, the ones that weren't complete, that they have like the different episodes that they didn't show for Clone Wars. One of the ones that had a Yuzan Vong in it, it was a scout ship. So previously they spoke to Filoni. He said all those animatronics are all canon because the Boba Fett with Cad Bane, when he shot him in the head, they said that's canon. So, but we never got the actual complete.
Wait, what are you saying? The Yuzan Vong never showed up in the animatronics.
There was an episode.
No, there wasn't.
Or sketch or something.
I don't know where this is going from.
No, the animatronics, the cartoons.
Yeah,
that
we've
we-
seen them all. We've seen them all. We
they're-
saw the one
so
where
apparently the
Bad
Yuzon
Batch
Vong,
is saving fucking Yoda. We
they
saw.
said the stories are canon that weren't even
Okay.
complete. That's what they said.
But the Yuzon Vong was never in the animatronic.
There was an episode. There was an episode of a scout ship that came into the known universe, and that was the first appearance. They were supposed to show it. They never did. But the concept art and stuff like that, Filoni has stated that
I would love the source for that, Dom, because that I can remember all of them.
I'm gonna let that one cook.
Wait, what? You know,
Cook.
there wasn't any space scenes in the animatronics.
Yeah, I don't. And also too, because you saw a ship, that means the Uzon like.
No, it was a Yuzon Vong
skeleton crew.
friggin' scout ship. So Yuzon Vong was coming into
Probably
Clone
did it
Wars.
say the animatronic? This is a Uzon Wong scout ship, or just does it look like a Uzon Wong ship?
No, but they showed the character. It's just they did. So
No,
apparently,
that's not true. That one's not true. I know for sure.
Right.
Well, because I've watched all the animatronics. I have.
I know you have. So they said that there was other written stories that never got in, but Filoni has made all that canon to the Clone Wars. Even the stuff that wasn't put out there. That's why I'm still trying to figure out. But Filoni, through Filoni's mouth, said that it's all canon.
Okay, show me where
Hold
Filoni
on.
says that through Filoni's mouth.
I don't know.
What is it, JJ? Do you understand what
I
that
don't
he's
know.
saying?
He's saying
I'm
all
not-
the concept.
I'm not trying to be
So,
rude, but
that would be
I-
all inclusive of all the
Uzon
concept
Vong,
art
Clone
and
Wars.
everything in Dave Filoni's head
Canon.
regarding Clone Wars was canon. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
So is he
Yeah,
pulling?
Filoni-
Is he pulling a
Uzon
Lucas?
Vong.
Whatever anybody says, if he thinks it's
Clone
his,
Wars
it's his.
episode.
I guess
created
Filoni
it.
and Lucas now. Whatever.
Yeah, Filoni,
occurred
Lucas,
in his
whatever
mind
anybody says
occurred
it's Star
in his life,
Wars.
I guess.
But Dave doesn't usually talk like that.
I have no idea.
I mean, he'll steal people's characters. Don't get me wrong; he's got no qualms at that. But he typically doesn't say like,
Yeah, well, a lot of times he steals their characters and revamps them as his own character.
"Yes, that's what he does. He steals their
Like, you know,
characters."
it's just, like Thrawn is like the exception to the rule, right? Because Thrawn is actually the same name and everything, but usually it's like, let me take the exact concept of this character outfit a little bit, call them something different, and now they're mine. That's usually the way it works.
Yeah.
Like, let's call this a Vong Uzon, and this is their scout ship. But yeah. So I can see him
there
doing
wasn't
something like that, where it was supposed to be something like the Uzon Vong he was supposed to put in there or something.
Yeah, if he said I created something like that, eventually I had something like the Yuzon Vong that I was going to use.
Yeah.
But like the other stuff, we saw,
Vong.
what was it? 4 stories? He's already said it. It's like 4 stories that was missed. It was the Bad Batch getting Yoda out. It was Ventress story. Wasn't that a 2-parter?
Son of Dathomir was one.
Son of Dathomir. I'm missing one.
Yeah.
Well, the Ventress is the Ventress one where Boba Fett gets shot in the head.
Well, the Boba Fett, yeah. Well, that's canon. That whole thing, that whole arc with Cad Bane is
But
canon.
that whole thing was like also created to indent that was all there. Like it was just like
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing.
Yeah, I understand that part, Dom. We saw that happen.
Right. All right. You know what? It says while old Legends of Timeline is now kind of Yuzon Vong was actually made canon in a different way.
I mean, there's like they've kind of backdoor snuck stuff in there and like encyclopedias and stuff. I guess you could count something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. But,
Like
yeah.
maybe the character exists that.
Yeah, or where they sneak it in like, like they did Revan. Everybody thought Revan kind of became canon because they had that was it Revocanist or whatever, which is an actual word that like Rand used at some point. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like so.
Well, they actually brought him back.
into a
They did.
dictionary.
Well, Yeah, you're right.
Right,
Yeah.
But like, I don't remember any animate. Like I don't remember like Darth Bane. Like I don't remember like an animatronic like made up Darth Bane scene or anything like that for the Uzon Vong. I don't know.
Well, there was Darth Bane though that in the.
I know. I'm saying Darth Bane
Right.
was a thing that was
Yeah.
real. Like that was an animatronic computer thing that they that
Yeah,
was
yeah,
supposed to be
yeah.
a scene that was cut.
Yeah.
But
Well, they also
like, I
had the
don't remember that.
animatronics for the Dark Disciple too. They had that, and they never completed that either. So that's another thing. That was
Mhm. Well,
Yeah,
I think that was that was the Ventress
That's
thing.
Ventress
Marco was
story.
talking
Yeah,
about.
that's the
Yeah,
same. Yeah,
Ventress.
Ventress. I think it was 2-part. Yeah. No. Well, I think that was it. So I don't know, Dom. Good luck with it. I bet you'll send us something that links to nothing in the chat soon.
well, you know what? The whole fact is that the majority is canon. Now it's saying that that because it's not canon. I don't know, but there was a report. There was a thing. I can't find the Filoni thing. If I find it, I'll send it to you guys because there was something that he made that he said that was made canon. I don't know if the concept was made canon, if it's just the ship. I don't know. Some shit.
He could say maybe they could be. He does say a lot of times anything can come back into canon. So maybe that was what you misunderstood.
Yeah, Filoni says a lot of things. Like I can do whatever I want because I'm Dave Filoni. So
yeah. All right. Well, we're still gonna cut out. Okay, guys. I need to get out of here. It's nice, but the ice is really strong and hard, and I feel older because walking on it. So everybody stay warm, stay safe. Don't burn down if you're in California. Shout out to all those people getting. Hey, wait, did you guys see Steve Gutenberg? Or
yes,
Steve,
it was funny. The guy didn't know who he was.
News?
That was funny.
At first, I thought it was a joke. I was like, "Is that just a talk over?" And I was like, "No, that's fucking him." Do you know what I'm talking about?
He goes, "What's your name, sir?" I'm Jeff Goldblum. He has no idea who he was. Gutenberg. He had no idea. Police Academy.
Most people under the age of like 35 probably have no idea who.
Yeah, they probably don't. Yeah.
I don't blame him for that one.
No, I don't either, but I thought it was just funny. He's like, but it's just because it's so Steve Gutenberg to be out there like saving people in the hills. I got to go back up, and I'm gonna my friends, and you're like, oh,
you see the dude with the rabbit? That the rabbit.
It's a horrible situation out there. I give.
No, I'm trying not to watch too much.
Anybody looking out for their neighbors and stuff like that, I give huge props to. So.
Yeah, huge props to. Yeah, it's got to be dangerous out there, man. That sucks. I
wish the best for everybody out there.
But also too. And I don't mean to say this in a negative way, but if you've got that type of money, why don't you build your houses not out of wood?
There was a dude that actually did the flame retardant around his house, and he had the sprinklers on top of the roof, and he saved his house. But all his neighbors' houses got.
We have a place down here that they definitely did not build out of wood. The inside might have some wood to it, but and it's huge.
I don't like getting into conspiracies, but they said they had no water. They're right into the fucking ocean. Don't understand. Anyway. That is another mind-boggling thing.
Holy shit! No, Dom. Oh my god. Yeah. Holy shit. All right,
different show.
Oh my god. Oh my god. All right. Thank you for ending that. Yep. Okay.